Hi. Hello. This is happening. Hot guy dating time. Welcome. Just noticed that he's off the screen. There we go. Okily dokily. Thank you for contributing, Frosty. Welcome. I don't know if I want to do it myself this time, because that means having to get out my phone. Meanwhile, my phone is right next to me, but that's fine. It's fine. Also, just ignore any background noises you hear. My father is watching Jumanji. Yeah! Okay. Let's get back to Cinderella Phenomenon and dating the idiot. The hot idiot guy with glasses. Woo! It'll load up in a second. We'll be fine. We'll live. Now we got dings. Okay. Continuing where we left off in chapter 7. I think I need to turn this down because otherwise I'm gonna go deaf. Cannot hear myself. Fantastic. So, we are showing up on the screen. Fantastic. It takes a while, but after several days, Rumpel finally allows me to go back to work. I'm assuming that he was, I don't know, being overprotective for some reason? Did we get attacked or something? I'm confused. I don't know what's happening. I cannot remember much of what happened when he was watching over me, especially that first day. Was this? I actually can't remember what happened before. It's all a little bit of a blur now, like it was all just a dream. Oh, princess. Back up on your feet? Yes, I'm fine now. Oh, what a relief. When I last saw you, you looked quite pale. When? I dropped in to check on you in your room, but Rumpel was there. He told me that he had everything under control. Oh, we must have fainted because we got sick or something. That's all I can think of. Why did you need to check up on me? Because I was worried, of course. Maybe you've been working too hard. No, I'm fine. Just tell me what things need to be done. Are you sure you're okay? She's fine, Anise. Delora suddenly appears before me smirking. It's been 2 weeks since I played this. This is weird. Princess is sturdy and a little too stubborn to let a little sickness get her down. I've not spoken with Delora or Parfait since the night where they told me about Mother. Just thinking about what they told me puts me on edge. Aw, Princess, why the sour expression? Allow me to calm you down with a little lullaby. Excuse me? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Anise, give me those work orders now. Up above the world so high. Anise! Oh, the tables on the west are yours, Princess Lucette. I quickly walk away from the bar and catch only the last little bit of Delora singing. Like a diamond in the sky. She sang that the night I was cursed. Hearing her singing again is infuriating. The song slowly fades from my mind as I go about my work for the day. I'm still a little shaky on my feet, but not so much that I need to go back to bed. As I'm walking around the bar, I catch snatches of conversation as I serve food. That just doesn't sound right. I hear the king has been mediating arguments between his 2 advisors. That Mithros man? He reminds me of a snake, always smiling that slithery smile of his. That one and Allcaster. Apparently there's been no end to their squabbles. The king missed his monthly visit to the town yesterday, didn't he? I wonder if he's sick. There's been no word from the palace, but I suppose he must have come down with something. Nothing would keep the king from visiting otherwise. What's going on at the palace? You heard about the incident with the royal guard? Apparently lots of them have been getting dishonorably discharged. Found doing something to dishonor the king's name. Huh? Like what exactly? Not sure. That information is still under wraps. Okay. I'm walking forward, not watching where I'm going, when I collide with someone in my path. I feel a hand on my shoulder and then another lifts my chin. If it isn't the lovely princess. You're looking a lot peachier today. Shut your face. Because you're not as pale? Because the colour's coming back into your skin? I'm still thinking of the king and the situations in the palace and barely hear Rumpel's words. It isn't until he leans closer to me and narrows his eyes that I realize he's so close. He was like... now Sleeping Beauty is truly awake. And here I was hoping I would have an excuse to plan a kiss on your lips, my sweet princess. Okay. Not a single reaction today. Not a slight blush, not a slap, not... Are you still sick? Must I perform another examination? Examination? Yes, by looking closely at your face, into your eyes. How are you a doctor, Rumpel? Rumpel stares at me with surprise. I'm not sure where the question came from, just that it was hovering in my mind. What? Princess, you wound me! I have not seen you do anything different from an ace. But my prescriptions... Even the people at the shops could tell us what medicines to buy. Fine, I'll show you. Rumpel's expression slips into something shockingly solemn. He looks angry. He looks at me gravely and extends a hand. He looks so angry. If you would be so kind as to come up to my room. Does going up to your room have anything to do with work? Delora appears before me again, this time without the snide smile. She raises an eyebrow. I don't think either of your shifts are over. She looks at me first. Yeah. The hot, dumb guy with glasses. Observe. He is hot, he is dumb, and he has glasses. He's also actually pretty smart to be a doctor, but also he's a dumbass. We love Rumpel in this house, I'm just gonna say. Epitome of best man. Also, I meant for the lullaby to inspire you, not scare you, princess. You're sold? Fantastic. Cool, we're all on the same page. For a few moments she looks concerned, which startles me. The lullaby is certainly associated with a terrible memory, but the weight of that memory has dissipated over time, as has my anger at Delora. It's still there, but holding on to that anger does me no good. I sigh and shake my head. You have a terrible voice. Ah, there's the princess we all know and love. She crosses her arms. Anyway, you don't want me to sing you into action again, do you? Bitch. Come to my room later then, princess. I'll show you proof. Hi, Goner. Welcome. We are trying to date the idiot man. Welcome, welcome. Let me just do that thing. Hi. Look at the hot guy. I have nothing else to offer to this conversation. See, the thing that you guys probably don't know and may potentially never run into is that he has idiot music. He has idiot music and it's fantastic. But yeah, thank you for reading, Gano. Let me also do... Let me also do that, because I can do that. And I need to remember that I can do that more. Yes. But yeah, how was your stream? come by my room. Yes, so Rumpel is trying to convince us that he is a doctor. Because so far all we have gotten is hot guy who basically flirts with everyone. Because flirting basically makes people feel good about themselves. So he flirts with literally every girl that exists. And now he's just... He took care of our character while she was sick. And now she's gone back to work and everything. And he works at the same place because curses and shit. And there's so much in this story. And he tried making us feel, like, a little bit better by flirting with us again. Which then made us ask how he was a doctor. Like, we don't understand how he's a doctor. So now he's just like, come to my room and I'll show you how I'm a doctor. Just like... phrasing. I'll show you proof. Proof? That I am a capable doctor! Rumpel walks off, leaving me with Delora, who looks at me skeptically for a few moments. Something on your mind, princess? There were so many conversations I heard earlier, so many questions that I have. While I don't want to speak to Delora, I may as well ask her about something she might know. I overheard rumors about the palace? Did you now? We still haven't confirmed those rumors yet. Look, princess, I know it's not in your nature to trust people, but trust Parfait and me at least. We'll let you know if something's up. Been here earlier, but a giant beholder, vampire's curse, and a wild goose chase for mythical pistols that still isn't over yet, and we'll wait till Thursday. Look, probably a good thing that you weren't here earlier, because I've only been doing this for like 15 minutes now. So like, I'd say good timing. I would say good timing. I'm ushered back to work where I spend the next few hours searching for more information. Unfortunately, everything I hear is just speculation. Good work today, Lucette. Has Rumpel already left? I think he went up to his room earlier. Thank you. Anise looks at me curious. What? You and Rumpel have grown a lot closer, haven't you? Well, we are partners. But in the beginning you didn't even want him as a partner. And now the two of you are... friends? You're loving Battle Chasers? That's pretty good. I don't actually know what Battle Chasers is, so like... cool? You can explain it to me if you want. I could also explain to you that Lucette is meant to be like... the princess. Like, she is a princess. But she's been cursed with the Cinderella curse, which is basically doing the opposite of what the original Cinderella curse did. So she's a princess, but no one remembers that she's the princess. Not even her family. But also, her mother was a witch. And originally witches were fantasy turn-based RPG. Okay. Fair enough. I'm not too good at those. But yeah, I think people who, like, are actually successful in them, pretty fucking good. Curses are always fun. So pretty much most of the characters in this have been, that's still Salty's, what's it called? Alert box, but anyways, I can't be bothered to fix it. Thank you for the 4 months of subscription so far, Breezy. Thank you very much. But yeah, so our mother is basically like the head witch. Now witches used to be good. Used to be. But it got to the point where the Brothers Grimm went around writing all these fairy tales and having the witches as the bad guys, which basically made all of the humans go, ooh, witches are bad, fairies are good, blah, blah, blah. So witches were being persecuted, so they came back with a clapback of fairy tale curses, which uses the fairy tales as a basis for a curse for those people. And that caused, like, a massive war and everything. But the problem between this is that the head of the fairies and the head of the witches each have, like, a special, like, crystal thing. And so the fairies' crystal holds, like, all of the good emotions and everything. The witches' one has all of, like, the bad emotions. So Lucette is going to inherit that crystal on her 18th birthday, whether she's been trained as a witch or not. Which basically puts us on a hit radar for a load of witches. But Lucette didn't know any of this. Fucking clueless, has no idea that her mother was a witch. All she knew was that her mother taught her since she was little that she is a princess. She's not meant to show emotion, otherwise people will know her weakness. She can't really have friends because everyone's out for her position and what she can give them. There's always, like, a reason kind of thing instead of just, I want a fucking friend, bitch. So Lucette grew up as, like this ice princess that was, like, kind of really mean to everyone as she was growing up. So it got to a point, like, so she's not 18 yet, and there needs to be at least 18, like, a couple months in between it, so I'm gonna say not too long after she turned 17 or something, she got a new doll. Terrible parenting 101, yes. So at the end of the war, the mum died and everything, and Lucette was just, like, had no, like, just thought everyone was really weird around her. Like, no one liked her for some reason, and she's just like, well, fuck them. I'm a boss-ass bitch. I'm a princess. People have to do what I fucking want. Yes. Hello, Elfman. Welcome. So, the dad, the king, then went out one day and suddenly came back with the woman that he wanted to marry and the woman's 2 kids. And is just like, I'm gonna marry this woman. She is my true love. I love her. And then, of the 2 kids, one of them is a boy who was cursed with the, what's it called? The Ariel's curse. So he can't speak, but he has, like, this cute little, like, bunny stuffed toy that sits on his shoulder and talks for him. It's adorable. And then the sister, who is honestly, like, the airheaded main character of any, like, anime or, like, love interest or whatever. Like, she's ditzy, but she's pretty. She's very genuine. And Lucette hates the fuck out of her because Lucette is just like, you're just trying to use me to, like, make yourself look better, whatever. Whereas this girl is literally just trying to be nice to Lucette because she's just like, we're sisters now. We're sisters. Let's get along because this is fun and I love you and your family now. And Lucette's just like, bitch, no, I'm a princess. So Lucette gets a doll. It just appears randomly one day. And after a while, the doll just out of nowhere turns human size and is just like, you're a dick. I'ma curse you with a fairy tale curse. And until you do 3 good deeds, no one's gonna remember you. Which is where Delora came in. Delora is our witch godmother, basically. Thank you for the biddies, Breezy. But yeah, so the whole reason for this is that they were trying to make it so Lucette wasn't a dick when she finally inherited the crystal that holds all of the dark, like, emotions, like horrible emotions, whatever, that people normally have. Because as soon as she gets that, it'll give her power, and it'll basically be a battle between the evil witches and everyone else to who can influence Lucette first, and potentially just, like, fuck everyone else over. So, yeah. That's majority of the story. So, we've already done 2 routes before dumbass doctor guy with glasses. And so that was the stepbro. Literal stepbro. I'm cursed, help me. The second one was a guy called Karma, which, for anyone who hangs out on this channel enough, you would know that someone else on this channel is called Karma, and it was really fucking funny. What are you doing, stepbro? Better some dating sims? I would say yeah. Like, I've played a couple before, but, like, kind of boring on top of the whole paywall thing, whereas this one is just, there's the game. You don't really have to pay it anymore. There is a sequel to this game, but I'll see about it later. But yeah, so the guy before this was Karma. Hi, Amelia. Welcome back. How was your stream? I saw you were streaming earlier. How was that? I can't remember what you were playing either. Simplicity? Something. Yeah, Karma made an appearance in the game, and it was a hot red-headed Karma. Oh, people playing Doki Doki? What were you expecting for people playing Doki Doki? I'm just curious. I'm very curious. But yeah, so last one was Karma. Syndicate, that was it. More for voice practice. What is Syndicate? I didn't actually get much of a chance to have a look, because by I saw you were playing Syndicate, I mean, I saw, like, it on the sidebar as I was setting the stream up. Oh. You thought that Doki Doki was a normal dating sim? Oh, Amelia. Amelia. Yeah, so getting sidetracked. So Karma, the person we were dating before, he was cursed with the Beauty and the Beast curse, but it was Beauty and the Beast in one. So basically, when, like, people saw him normally, like, all of the women would literally just do, like, the hard eyes, like, fucking trample everyone to get to him. So he has to go around dressed as a woman so people won't fall in love with him and try to basically murder everyone. And when you find out at the end of the route, or close to the end of the route, he is the crown prince of a neighboring kingdom. And he was cursed because the girl that he was dating at the time or something was a witch, and he was a dick to her. Which, you know, he deserved it. And then, so the curse was 2 things. On top of all of the girls falling in love with him, if he did find someone who really, like, he loved back, he would turn into a beast, and then either the person had to accept him as the beast, or he got rejected while looking like a beast. And he had been rejected before, so he didn't really want to try again. And, you know, Lucette obviously did the thing. Look, the first time I saw Doki Doki on Game Theory, that really threw me off. Like, I was a little confused, and then they started going into the game files, and then I'm just like, oh, it's one of these ones. I have only seen people, like... Unfortunately, there are no bed scenes. No bed scenes. This is straight up, like, PG-13 dating sim. Sorry to say. We are. Look, if I could, I would play Dramatical Murder on stream. But it's one of the banned games on Twitch. So... Otherwise, I would totally play it. You know how much I want to play Dramatical Murder? Like, I didn't properly watch people play through it because I want to play it myself one day. I want to play Dramatical Murder. Streaming on Discord? Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Because that's going to be a really, like, difficult, like, thing to swing. Because that means, like, a load of people in a, what's it called? In a voice channel. Either that or it limits the amount of people that can be in the voice channel. And it's got to be really difficult. I would say that it's more of a thing that we would need to find a different platform that allows it to be able to do it. I would also say that it would need like 500,000 different like trigger warnings. Actually, no. Not as... No. The main game doesn't really need a trigger warning. It's the aftermath thing that needs trigger warnings. But the aftermath is kind of the part that I also really want to see, though. I am... My mind is in the gutter now. Great. Now I'm just thinking about the twins. Vitus and Trip. Continuing on. Friends. If Rumpel considers me a friend, that should make me happy, but for some reason it... Discord crash? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because, like, most people put, like, limits on how many people can be in, like, a voice channel, which means that... Or at least you have to put a limit on it or something. Hey, Garno, you haven't heard of Dramatical Murder before, have you? I'll educate it on it another day. I'll educate you on it another day. The twins are really messed up. Oh, I need to educate you both. Oh no. Oh, that's dangerous. I can totally educate you on it. I have no promises. Sure, we can do that after the stream. I can educate you on the gayest thing I have... Like, the gayest smut I have ever seen. I can do that. Yeah, the name is a huge red flag. That's only for the bad endings, though. It's fine. It's fine. I swear. Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole lot of dicks. Not really. Not straight up. But the ending, like, there's separate games for it. So you have the main dating sim, and then you have, like, the little after, like, the sequel kind of thing. That is just, like, what happens with their relationship after, like, this certain point. Yeah. Anyways, it makes me feel empty inside. Why? What else could we be beside friends? My cheeks feel warm as I try to think beyond the idea of just being friends with Rumble. Her mind's in the gutter too. Fantastic. I'm happy that the two of you get along. I am too. Hot guy with glasses. Oof. At least I need to go. I told him I would meet him for something tonight. Meet him for something? Yeah, honey. Go get some. Oh, okay. Sorry for holding you up. Anise scrambles off, leaving me by myself. I stand there for a few moments in an attempt to still my thoughts, and then I begin to make my way to Rumpel's room. Rumpel? GAMMA.CON gang. Yee. The door swings open and there stands Rumpel. With a dramatic bow, he ushers me inside before closing the door behind him. I wasn't entirely certain you'd show up, Princess. Normally when you go places with me, it's out of necessity. I only came to see this proof you insisted upon earlier. Proof that you are more than what you seem. He places a hand on my back and guides me over to a chair. He insists that I sit, and I do. Here it is, my proof. You tried to read it while you were sick, too. Your journal? I've seen him writing this before, but I thought it was for his memories, not for doctor things. He barely even works on patients now. He's going to secretly be a murderer. Who's gonna secretly be a murderer? Rumpel? Rumpel's persistence stokes my curiosity, and soon I find myself flipping through the pages of the book. This was the journal you had when the Martian found you in the streets. You said it was empty then. It was. I've been filling things in from memory ever since I remembered my job. The book is filled with diagrams. Diagrams of the body, both inside and out. I have no idea what most of the words mean. What are all the smaller words here? Oh, parts of the pancreas. Not very fun to talk about. There's the papilla, the pancreatic duct. Why is it necessary to use such big words for such simple things? For clarification, sometimes when you diagnose a problem, it isn't as simple as telling a person that their heart is weak. Oh, Rumpel's gonna secretly be a murderer. No. No, he's just really dumb with love. He had a fiance, who went and then cheated on him with a rich man because apparently Rumpel was just too nice. And she was just like, get mad at me! So she cheated on him to make him mad at her, and he's just like, what did I do wrong? And then she was mad because he asked what he did wrong and didn't get mad at her instead for what she did wrong. Like, if that ain't the, like, definition of crazy girlfriend, I don't know what is. I continue flipping through it, with Rumpel sometimes explaining things that are on the page, though I don't ask for the descriptions. Scattered throughout the journal are journal entries about his life. When I get to the last entry, I spot my name and begin to read, but before I can even get to the next word after my name, Rumpel has taken the journal from my hands. He wrote stuff about us! Oh! Yeah. Being nice. Ha! Sorry, my sweet. But a man's words are sometimes all he has. Insult them and you break him from the inside out. He thinks I'm going to insult his writing? But what did you think? Aren't you impressed with my sophistication? My breadth of knowledge? My intricacy? You drew some pictures and wrote fancy words by them. Princess. I cannot help the little laugh that escapes my lips. Immediately after I hear it, I feel myself flushing as Rumpel grins at me triumphantly. Your laughs are sweeter than honey, Princess. And because your voice is back and you're no longer sick, I can hear it in all of its fullness. He takes a step closer to me and reaches out to touch my cheek. I flinch in surprise but don't draw away. The rapid beating of my heart is not altogether uncomfortable, even if it does confuse me. What the frick happened here? Yikes. I have a walkthrough on the side just because I can't be bothered actually, making an effort with this game. He pulls his hand away from my cheek, then flicks my forehead. What was that for? Friend zone so many times it's not funny. Yeah, look, I can't comment on this one. Because I'm the one doing that. Because relationships are icky. Yay. Ooh. I wanted to see the way your eyes glimmered. You looked oddly vacant there for a few moments. I open my mouth to speak again, but Rumpel surprises me by setting his finger on my lips. He inches closer to me, so close that I can feel his breath on my cheeks. Some of them turned out to be the very best of friends? Yeah. I could give two different, like, examples from my end, but also I don't know if they want that spread around, so... Cool! I am also dumb enough that if I had ever had anyone who was interested in me before those people, I don't know, because the only reason I knew that those two people liked me was because someone else told me. I open my mouth to speak again, but Rumpel surprises me by setting his finger on my lips. He inches closer to me, so close that I can feel his breath on my cheeks. But even when you don't speak, your eyes speak for you. You have beautiful eyes, you know. We look away? There he goes again with his compliments. I should be used to them by now, but lately, whenever he compliments me, I can't stop myself from being flattered. When I look into his eyes, I can almost see my reflection in them. Without realizing, I look away from him, feeling my breath stop short before I can breathe out. Are you sick, Princess? You look a little flushed. Look, I know he's flirting hard. But the thing with him and Lucette is that Lucette knows that he flirts with everyone. Princess? He removes his finger. He does not, however, step back. I'm still aware of his lips, so close to mine, and his eyes, which are still looking straight at me. This feels different than your usual resistance. Could it be that you're embarrassed? Aw, she's blushing. He clears his throat and then starts speaking again. In any case, it's so nice to have you back, Princess. I missed you while you were sleeping day in and out. You're a natural flirt, you have the same problem? Oof. That's not a me thing. I'm just good at dressing up to look cute or hot. And then I'm just like, okay, bye! He missed me? But you have friends all over the Marchen. Yes, but none of them are you. You're special. Both a curse and a blessing. Well, at least you can see that it's both a curse and a blessing. If you were oblivious as well, that would be a problem. My heart plunges like a rock. I can feel it everywhere in my body, reverberating from a place that doesn't feel like my chest. Did it get personal? I don't know. I'm very good at oversharing. Very good at it. He lowers his face so that two of us are seeing eye to eye. I forget to breathe as his hands go to my shoulders. Also, look, this is what we're playing right now. I don't know how much is okay and what's not right now. I'm going to be explaining Dramatical Murder to both of you after this. Oh my god. Princess? Yes? I inhale sharply as I get a better look at Rumpel's face. Up until now, I have not stopped to look too closely at his features, but now I can't stop my eyes from taking them in. On another note, if there's anyone else who's watching right now who would like a short introduction to Dramatical Murder, join the Discord. I will be explaining Dramatical Murder after this. Thank you, Breezy. Look, I'm good at traumatizing people, so there's your warning. Whenever you're sick again, I'll be there to help you, because I'm a doctor, even though you might not believe it. All you ever really need is a little vitamin me. We got idiot music! Listen to this beautiful. Listen to this beauty. Get the idiot music! I'm so happy. I'm so happy the idiot music came back. You have no idea how happy I am right now that idiot music is back. I'm gonna die. Okay, moving on though. Little Vitamin Moo. In one precious moment, every single bit of energy that had been between us vanishes. I stare blankly at Rumple as he smiles at me. No? Okay, fuck you. You got me on a good night. Every other time I try to play Oni, I fuck up real bad. It don't work. I thought that one was actually good too. What reaction? I'm confused. What? Rumple pulls his hands away, defeated. I suddenly feel strangely upset. What was I expecting from him? What else could he have said? Suddenly, I am eager to look away from him. I look anywhere but at him, and eventually my eyes fall on a piece of paper. I recognize the name printed on the top, along with Rumple's signature and response lying next to it. Rumple moves to stand in front of the desk once more. That's... You're still writing to Bria? Bria is the ex-fiancée, by the way. The cheating bitch. I sent her a letter asking for my old journals. I'm convinced that's where the last of my memories are, but... she refuses to give them to me. I glance at Bria's letter, my eyes scouring the words. I make a mental note of the address on the envelope. Don't worry, Princess. I'll figure it out, but for now... He reaches for me, but I duck out of the way of his hand. I have to do this now while the address is still fresh in my head. I just remembered there's something I need to do. But Princess, I was just... I'll see you tomorrow. Reaction to hearing the idiot music. The idiot music is my favorite thing in this game, okay? I was looking forward to, like, chasing him, like, going for his route since, like, the start of the game, because you get to hear the idiot music before you choose, like, who you're going after. And I heard it, and I'm just like, oh my god, please tell me this is a more than once thing. And it's happened, like, 3 more times through the route, and it just makes me so happy every time I hear it. I'll see you tomorrow. I pause at the doorway to glance at Rumple. See you tomorrow, Princess. Sweet dreams. Good night, Rumple. Done. I sealed the envelope over the letter I'd been writing since I woke up. And now to have it delivered. After I've sent the letter off with a messenger, I return to my work for the day. It starts first with Mr. Broom, then with the serving. I look for Rumple, knowing that it is now his time off, and I'm surprised when I see him sitting not with the other women, but with Karma. The two of them are... laughing together? Fair enough, Breezy. Good. Yeah, fair. Yeah. I guess that advice isn't too terrible. I give the best advice, darling. I'm a man of the heart. Also, this is Karma. So, welcome, Karma. He's pretty. He's pretty. Karma is pretty. Perhaps not as much as I am, but I can give you credit when it's due. Oh, you gotta take out trash? Okay. See you soon. What are you two talking about? Princess! Well, hello there, Princess. Very flamboyant, yes. Very flamboyant. He's dressed as a woman, remember? Because otherwise people try chasing him. Karma is hecking pretty. Very extra. Yeah, look. He knows he's pretty. And he's gonna fucking flaunt it, so... He knows he's hot. He's also a hidden prince. And trying to fix his curse is incredibly fucking hard for him. So he's kind of just like, Tell you you're pretty? You're pretty, Amelia. Of course you're pretty. I wish I could get, like, I wish these guys had voice actors. I would love that. I would love to hear their voices. I would love to hear their voices. Like, can you imagine? Because I can. But also I can't do male voices, so... yeah. Karma's mischievous smile confuses me. Even Rumpel looks surprisingly shaken. So what I get here is that Rumpel was asking Karma for advice on trying to ask us out or something. That's what I get from this. You didn't answer my question. We're talking about matters related to the heart. Of course you are. I took it upon myself to impart invaluable advice to Rumpel. Karma sounds like one of Team Rocket. I could see that. I could totally fucking see that. Look, Karma is Jesse's, like, stepbro. Or, like, a cousin or something, because I'm pretty sure... Okay. From what I can tell in Pokemon... Give them voice actors from the chat? Sure, go for it. From what I can tell with Pokemon, there's Jessie, and then there's a very, like... Isn't there, like, a very similar character to Jessie in it? Like, it's not Jessie, like, disguising herself to get into something. There's actually another character that looks very similar to Jessie. Like, Jezebel or something? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But doesn't that also mean that they could be, like... I need someone to tell me if I'm right or not, whether they're two separate characters or the same character, because otherwise, like, that changes what I'm thinking. Jessie Bell. Yeah. So, they're two different characters, aren't they? Pretty sure they're two different characters. Separate characters. Okay. So, I've been reading a fanfiction recently that's actually really fucking good. Where it was... I can't remember who it was. One of the legendary Pokemon got a hold of, like, those, cultivation, like, Korean, like, webcomics or something. Like, cultivation, like, Chinese comics or something. You know the ones. Where, like, it's basically a given that the male main character will have, like, multiple girls who are, like, trying to go after him or something. Potentially ends up with a harem. They end up, like, stupid strong, and they end up finding, like, weird connections, like, throughout the world. They're just like, oh yeah, that's my cousin. Oh, I don't know what gen it is. It's just based off of the cartoon. I don't know, really. But basically what it does is, the legendary who got a hold of it was just like, I'm going to change the world! So it's a cultivation world. So it's basically Pokemon, but cultivation. Multiple gens for Jessie Bell. I don't know. But basically what it does is that Ash is just like Ash suddenly remembers everything, so it restarts everything from the start of Ash's journey. As soon as, like, Ash gets, like, touches Pikachu, Ash and Pikachu remember. And then as they go, key people in their journey, if he, like, physically comes in contact with them, they remember as well. They remember what the world used to be. So, there's this whole thing where, what's it? So, the first interaction between Ash and Team Rocket, he starts going off on this, like, tangent where he starts, like, realizing how he can help them get out of the bullshit that they're in. Because James is meant to be, like, the young lord or something that ran away because he didn't want to end up in, like, the arranged marriage or something. Jessie is just part of it. But then Ash is just like, with how similar Jessie and Jessie Belle look, it's very possible, like, in this sort of alternate universe, that Jessie was the twin that was thrown away because her cultivation didn't look promising. And that Jessie Belle stayed with the family and then got proper cultivation techniques and everything. So if Jessie then trained and got better than Jessie Belle with, like, cultivation and, like, training and everything, she can go back to the family, challenge Jessie Belle for, like, heirship, and get control of the family, and then Jessie and James can be together, and no one's going... Yeah, it's canon that James ran away from that. Yeah, okay, cool. Because, look, all I'm doing is reading the fanfiction. I don't interact with Pokemon very much. But it's really good. I should send this to you, actually, Breezy. But before I start, or maybe while I'm explaining Dramatical Murder, I'll find the link for that fanfic for you and send it to you, because it's actually really good. There's only, like, 4 chapters to it, but it's so good. Hi, Sesame! Also, hi, Karma. Karma's here twice. Fantastic. We're all Karma now. I'm assuming it's Karma, because it's on the GAMMA.CON account. I took it upon myself to impart valuable advice to Rumple. You're giving Rumple advice? Even though you two were always at each other's throats? Ha! Even the bitterest enemies can become beloved friends. All it takes is a shared interest. I have no idea what you're talking about. But before I can say anything else, I'm swept up by Delora, who calls me back to work. Karmaception. Yes, Karmaception. Karma is watching Karma, who is then trying to talk about Karma. The day goes on, and soon it's almost my break. I go to the front to see if the messenger has returned yet. Oh, Princess, there's a letter here for you. I didn't expect a response. I open it up and stare down at the letter for a long time. Writing love letters to a secret lover, Princess? Boop. Rumble appears behind me, his smile unusually small. He looks almost hesitant to be standing there. You're very much into Pokemon. I have noticed. Yes. It's not important. I stuff the letter into my pocket and continue working. For the rest of the day, I ignore Rumple. I don't want him asking about the letter, just in case things don't go according to plan. He is obviously disheartened by my ignoring him, and his sadness only persists in making me feel guilty. This is not something he can know about, otherwise he'll try and stop me. That's sad. It's almost cold. I have been good. Actually, look, I've been good other than the fact that I haven't been getting out of bed till like 3 in the afternoon. Is a problem. I will not battle you on Pokemon knowledge. I hate trivia. Thank you. Almost everyone has gone to their rooms, including a very saddened Rumple. The only people remaining are Anise and myself. Earlier, Waltz came in insisting that he speak to Delora and Parfait, and so the 3 of them are all off talking in the other room. Curiosity gets the better of me, and soon I find myself sweeping closer to the door. I edge it open quietly with my foot so I can see what is happening inside. I didn't think he was still alive. This is very troubling. He must have used a glamour. But the fact that I didn't realize it was him, Is that the princess I spot peeping through the door? Yikes. I try to hide, but all of the eyes in the room catch me before I can do so. Do you eavesdrop on people often, Lucette? Open invitation to see who can match your knowledge of Pokemon? Okay, cool. So if there's anyone who would like to challenge Breezy in Pokemon knowledge, we have a Discord. I don't know where else to do it. Maybe, like, I encourage everyone to chat in the chat, but also please don't flood my chat with Pokemon facts. I'm trying to play the game and I keep getting distracted. I had no real reason to eavesdrop on them besides my own curiosity. It's no harm done, Delora. Lucette, are you almost done with your chores? Ever since that conversation with Parfait and Delora, I've noticed that the words Parfait and I speak to each other are strained. Delora, however, is unchanged. I expect sarcasm from her now, but she doesn't deliver. She simply stands still and looks at me somberly. How many Nurse Joys are there all up? Oh my goodness. Regosaurus Rex. You're doing this. Okay. Go, Breezy, go! I am. And what are you all talking about? Hiding more things from me? Depending on God. We're talking about the rumors that have been going around about the palace. What have you heard? I have a right to know what's happening at the palace. We would tell you if we knew for certain, Princess. Walt sighs as he runs a hand through his hair. Rex, what have you done? I know the timing doesn't seem right, but I really should show myself out. I have a show early tomorrow morning. Early morning tomorrow. Ugh. He glances around at all of us. I'm going to excuse myself for the night. Good night, everyone. Yeah, make too many as they fuck like tomorrow. Not wrong. As he passes by me, he smiles. And to you too, Princess. Once again, everyone's being secretive. Why the sour face, Princess? Are you worried about what happens to the people in the palace you cared nothing for? Delora! Same with Officer Jenny. Okay, that was uncalled for. But really though, there is something I've been meaning to tell you. Since you're here now, I may as well say it. I knew you for 1 year before I cursed you. I saw what your mother had done to you, and I knew I needed to undo the damage before your birthday. Why is she talking about this now? I called you cruel and wicked when really I knew that the way you were was caused by the way your mother has brought you up. And when we talked about Hilda the other day, I was unfair in what I said to you. We all have to face reality, but... Delora pauses, looking surprisingly solemn. She sighs, then continues. I always knew you had some good in you. I saw it in you when you spoke to your dolls. It was good as hell. Huh? What? You have a good heart. I'm confused, Garno. What do you mean? I missed it. Many people enjoy flattery, Princess, and a lot of people are receptive to flirting. But nothing can measure up to a genuine compliment. Delora just complimented me? Thank you for contributing to the hoodie giveaway, Rex! You're cold. But it's good as hell? I mean, same, I'm cold too. Thank you for contributing to it as well, Amelia. We're getting real close, I think. I should probably do mine now as well. Just give me a hot sec. I'm gonna do this on my phone. There we go. Let's just chuck that in. Out of all people, I didn't expect Delora to compliment me. Not when she makes a point of always telling me the blunt truth. Thank you? There is no shock on Parfait and Delora's face when they smile at me. Oh, back from the trash, it's really cold out there. Okay, fair point. My mother kind of like went outside for half a second earlier and went, it's really windy and cold out there, and I'm just like, reason to stay inside. Yeah. I'm beginning to think you and Delora are alike. You're both stubborn and have good in you, but you hide it behind sarcasm. Hey! Lucette and I are nothing alike. But, yeah, grab a blanket and rug up. You can't see it, but I have a blanket wrapped around me, and I'm sitting on a pillow. Because I'm freezing. We are. We have not yet had any hint that we need to not. So, at the moment, we're still all systems go. We will definitely... Oh, autocorrect, yeah. That fucks us all over. But yeah, so if there is any problem with, like, running it, and if we have to stop, we will obviously make announcements on all of our socials and through our newsletter, and most likely on a stream as well. Like, definitely if there's any problem with running, because we really want to run this year. Like, we're so sick and tired of having to push things back or be like, oh no, we can't run. Like, being there is the experience, but we can't do the experience if people keep fucking up and getting shit spread around. Breezy, those statistics are really confused. Garno, this is about Gamma running in Canberra. This year. Yes, this is about Canberra. As long as everyone, like, fucking buckles up and, you know, does the right thing, we can run. And especially if New South Wales buckles up and does the right fucking thing, we should be good for this year. Fingers crossed. I would say knock on wood as well, but I literally don't have wood anywhere near me. I feel lighter somehow. I don't know if I've forgiven Delora just yet, but her cursing me has led me to see many things I wouldn't have seen before. We're all looking forward to it, Rex! I think we have another Gamma meeting tomorrow night, so there may be some more updates coming out sometime in the next couple weeks. I don't know. Gamma running? No. So GAMMA.CON is like a pop culture festival that is run in Canberra. So all of the people that you've seen on the account here, Garno, we actually run the festival. So I'm in charge of cosplay. Salty is our wonderful overlord. She's in charge of everything and kicks everyone's asses when we don't do what we need to do. Karma is in charge of volunteers. Moen is in charge of, like, the Blue Shift Festival, which is a little film festival connected to everything else. And he's got a couple of, like, I think he's also running the comic books as well. Yeah, he's running the comic books as well. So, like, there's a lot, like, that's only, what, 4 people out of the 20-something people that help run Gamma? Like, there's a lot of people behind this, so we try our best. Yeah. Yay! That's why we have all of these accounts and everything, so we can, you know, while all of the lockdowns were happening and everything, we're still working towards Gamma happening. And like with last year, we actually ended up doing Gamma as like an online event, as a stream, because we couldn't actually make it happen. So yeah, I owe her nothing, but I'm still happy. Even the truth hurts. Oh, what's this? My lovely little princess is in here with you two? Oh, Rumple, you're early tonight. Surprised to see me, beautiful? Rumple's earlier anxiety is gone. He looks at me with unbridled enthusiasm. I heard the princess's thank you from a distance. The words are always most beautiful when leaving her mouth. Stats for that just means it's nearly impossible for an office Jenny and nurse giving birth to a male child. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So you were also eavesdropping. You two are very alike. Not at all. Rumple leans towards me and smiles. My dream is to one day hear those words from you too, because you say them as gentle as the wind. Bitch! My milk and honey is cold now. I left it for over an hour. Child is going to like the mother. Yeah. look, we are happy to have more volunteers and everything, but if it's legitimately just not possible, take care of yourself. We'd much rather people take care of themselves than take the risk. But I hope things do get better, because that really does suck. Okay, if you're here to talk to Parfait about medicine, then I'm out. Lucette, you should leave too. Didn't mean to highlight that. I have no way to not highlight that, unfortunately. But yeah. Whoop. Well then, sleep well, beautiful maidens. Blech. Oh, compromised immune system. Yeah, okay, that makes sense now. But yeah, it's good that he doesn't have it anymore. It's like, that's not fun. Hydrate. I have water, or I have this. I drink the cold milk and honey. Question 2. Where could I catch a shining Gyarados? Some sort of water. Somewhere there's water. Go Breezy! I quickly finish my chores and return to my room where I lay on my bed contemplating tomorrow. Lake of Rage. Ooh, chemotherapy. Look, if you go to our Facebook, there should be a link for, like, volunteer sign-ups or something. Or even you can just message that page and then it'll get, like, forwarded on through, like, everyone who might be relevant. Yeah, I don't think we have the Facebook link option there, Breezy, but there should be, like, a link down there, I think, somewhere. Over that way? Somewhere. I'm pretty sure there's a Facebook link down below somewhere. But yeah, check that out. There'll be links to, like, every, like, freaking Google, what's it called? Google questionnaire thing that we have for, like, volunteers or whatever. And if you have questions about anything, you can also message that one. And Rob, our wonderful person who's in charge of the PR department, he'll get back to you as well, and all that fun stuff. They aren't showing on Vidav's stream. What do you mean aren't showing on Vidav's stream? What? I am confusion. Give me a sec. Yeah, so if you scroll down below, like, underneath where it has, like, gift a sub and it has, like, all of the views and everything, there's, like, the little About GAMMA.CON box, and there's, like, a Facebook link, an Instagram link, and the merch store link below it. Oh, no, that's fine. I just don't have the answers that most people want. Because I'm cosplay, like, cosplay is the main thing that I know about. Oh, you're on mobile and Xbox. That'd do it. So you'd probably have to, like, Breezy, you would have to go to the thing. Oh, good job, Pony! Good job, thank you! But yeah, I'm not very good at answering things, so, hey. I quickly finish my chores and return to my room where I lay on my bed contemplating tomorrow. Ugh. I cannot believe Bria wrote back to me. Tomorrow I'll meet with her and hopefully she'll agree to give me his journals. I hope this works, for Rumpel's sake. Yeah, you'd have to go to the profile to find the link, Breezy. But on computer, it's very easy to get the link. Today I'm outside by myself. I think if... I got hiccups. I think if Parfait or Delora knew, they would do worse than scold me. Ooh. Well, keep an eye out over the next couple weeks because hopefully we can get the cosplay sign up out and we can work on that. I shuffle uncomfortably as I sit at the little cafe Bria told me to wait for her at. Part of me is already convinced that she won't come. When I wrote her that letter asking for Rumpel's journals and she responded so easily, I was a little suspicious, but... Thank you, Amelia. It's kind of hard to see the heart. There you go. This is really the only chance I have. The only chance I'll have at what? Bria appears in front of me, not looking altogether unpleased, but still not smiling. Nothing. I don't like her, but I will have to play nice if I want to get Rumpel's journals back. Thank you for meeting me out here. Bria takes a seat in front of me, her expression still flat. Just need to figure out how you do it. Look, yeah, okay. I am not good at putting together a cosplay, but I can see, like, I'm good at seeing the craftsmanship and everything in it because I do craft and I sew and everything. I just somehow am shit at putting a cosplay together. Also, I generally tend to be able to recognize the characters fairly well. Oh, the props. Oh, yeah. Look, as long as it is not made of, like, solid metal kind of thing, and it's not over a meter long, you generally can bring it to cons. It's when it gets over a meter and very weighty that you tend to have problems. And also just be prepared that it will probably have some sort of marking that we have to put on it. Probably like, I don't know, a zip tie or something that is basically, yes, this person can have this here. No, like, it's not going to hurt someone. I remember a couple years back, at one of the earlier Gammas, like maybe 2016 or something, someone dressed as Harley Quinn and brought in this massive, like, gigantic fucking hammer. And I'm just like, I don't think that's okay. It was giant and it looked like it was pretty heavy as well, and I didn't think that was okay, but anyways. Oh, replica coffin? Look, I don't think you can smack someone with a replica coffin. Hey, Breezy! Woo! But yeah, literally, a replica coffin, I don't think you can just pick it up and smack someone with it. Unless you've made it out of, like, really light foam. In which case, I don't know about the structural integrity of that thing. Bria takes a seat in front of me, her expression still flat. You asked me in your letter why I was refusing to speak to Rumpel, and then you told me you wanted to meet with me to find out why. You're gonna be busy, I'm gonna be busy. The rest of the committee is all gonna be busy. We're all gonna be screaming our heads off, and there's gonna be a couple mental breakdowns as well. I had a mental breakdown about scissors at the end of it. That was fun. I had a mental breakdown at the end of Gamma about scissors. It's great. Oh yeah, that'd be a fantastic idea as like a backpack kind of thing, Gano. That would be amazing. And yes, absolutely talk to Amelia. Like, What did I do, Amelia? What'd I do? Huh? But yeah, Amelia has, like, all of the tips that you can, like, get for, like, props and prop making. Like, talk to her. She has tips. To break down? The breakdown? Yeah, in the Discord, absolutely, you can get a hold of each other and then... Oh, the breakdown. Oh, yeah. I was the idiot that brought my nice fabric scissors. Someone took them and then used them to cut up a load of paper. And when I found them by the end of it, I had a breakdown because, like, I don't know who took my scissors. They were in a completely different room. They were in the upstairs room, in, like, the committee room when no one was allowed to go. And then suddenly they were downstairs in the volunteer room. Someone had used them to cut up fabric. Sorry, used them to cut up, like, paper. And I completely just shut down and cried for, like, 20 minutes. Yeah, I was not okay. Absolutely not okay. You want the journals too, don't you? She reaches into a bag and pulls out a few journals that I assume are Rumple's. So she does have them. I know in your eyes I must seem the villain, but I'm not the only one at fault in this relationship. Years ago, when I met Rumple, he was... as he is now. Flirtatious, charming, over the top, and yet his compliments still made my heart sore. His compliments may be shallow, but Rumple is far from it. I pined after him for years. He was learning medicine, and I was studying to take over my mother's sewing shop. In the first years that I knew him, Rumple always complimented my work, even though it was nothing special. He insisted we do trade-offs. When we started dating, he would offer me flowers and trinkets, and in exchange I would sew him some article of clothing. I can see he's still wearing the scarf that I made him. That scarf was from Bria? We fell in love. Rumple became a changed man, more serious. He became a doctor and I opened up a shop. We were supposed to have a fairy tale ending, but... Her expression falls again as she looks absently down at the table. Two sides of things at GAMMA.CON? What are the two things? Like, I'm assuming volunteer, and then are you going to do a panel as well for MKAU? I'm assuming. We saw in each other ideals that didn't exist. Love can be shallow or it can be deep. I felt our love was deep, but in truth I only ever knew the very surface of Rumple. The surface? I saw his kindness, his charm, and his drive to do what was right. But then, as time went on, I also saw what that meant. The world is a place where only the strong survive. People are kind, but they will take advantage of those who seem too caring. Those sound like Mother's words. I shudder as I think about Mother's pessimism, the same kind that lies in me. It's a realistic way of looking at the world, but it's also so dismal and cloudy that it's impossible to see any light in it. Rumple helped a lot of people. Many of them were wonderful people, and I was always happy to see him do so much. But then he started putting other people above himself, and because we lived together, that meant me as well. Maybe it sounds petty to you, but no woman wants to live in poverty. I look at her skeptically. In the back of my mind, I remember the convenience of luxury, of so much money. I then recall the feeling of living poor in the streets and flinch. Not a panel, bit of recording, bit and pieces for a YouTube vid. Oh, okay. So you guys are going to put together a video of Gamma? That's actually really cool. I like seeing those videos that people do. It's, like, really, really cool. Especially when they get the cosplayers in on it. Like, ooh! I hope there's a lot of cosplayers. Look, okay, I'm actually fingers crossed. I want the Endeavor cosplayer to come back. And I want his kid to be dressed up as, like, Shoto or Darby again. I can't remember. Pretty sure one of his kids was dressed up as, like, Shoto, though. And I just fucking lived for it. It was amazing. I want him back. Like, I lived for it. The Endeavor joined the cosplay competition, and, like, for his first cosplay, actually really good. But his kid didn't, and I was just like, oh, please join. We had a house and we had a reputation, but Rumple refused money most of the time. He helped lots of poor people, but he also dried out our wallets. There isn't? Where does everyone else live, Breezy? Like, actually, Breezy, if you do have some more trouble with that, make sure you talk to Peasant as well, because she will be doing, mostly in Breezy, yeah. But yeah, make sure you talk to Peasant, because Peasant is going to be doing like pretty much all of this social media, like, she's the on-the-floor social media person. She'll be, like, doing Instagram posts, Facebook posts, all of that on the day. She'll be, like, taking photos of different people around and everything. So she will most likely have stuff that you can get a hold of as well. Like, if nothing else, you can just talk to her and be like, hey, is it possible, while you're getting photos and everything, can you get, like, some short clips in it and all of that as well, because that'd be amazing. Very helpful. Because it's very possible that she will say yes. She'll be very busy, but she will hopefully give the okay. And whenever I brought it up to him, he would smile as if that would just get rid of all of our problems. He made a name for himself as a doctor who helped the poor for minimal money, sometimes for free. And even when I told him we needed more money, he put other people first. He was so selfless that he became selfish. And I told him before that he should have accepted money, that he needed it. So selfless he became selfish. I had to go behind his back and find payment. What I was making wasn't enough. So I went to find his patients and tried to ask for payment. I became almost like a beggar. Can you imagine my humiliation? Rumpel put his patients before Bria. I was convinced he didn't love me, and my love dwindled for him. Our relationship became strained. Bria goes on to explain the events that happened between her and the nobleman. He was one of Rumpel's patients, and when she went to him to ask for the money he had originally offered, the two of them became intimate. But it was short-lived, and when the nobleman left her behind, Bria had to deal with a soured reputation. I wanted to make it up to Rumpel. I thought I could salvage this relationship, maybe even start over and teach him what was right, but that's not my place. She sighs deeply and then gestures at me. I share blame in all of this too, but so does Rumpel. That's why I've decided to let this all go. Whatever he does now, you'll have to deal with, because you're his partner, right? Oh yeah, absolutely. Just ask for help. If nothing else, like, if there's anyone else that you know that might be going as well, like, ask for help from everyone. Like, we may not be able to do much, but we'll, you know, try. We'll try our best. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get much out of the event either, but I'm gonna fucking try my best. I also need to make sure I have money for it. I have a bad habit. You know, last night when I was online shopping? Yeah, when the shops are in front of me, it's really hard to not. I spend a lot of money at Gamma. Bria hands me the bag of journals. Don't look so surprised. You came here for these, not to listen to me. I thought on it last night, and I have no reason to keep them around when they'll just continue making me bitter. I'll have to rely on myself for a while, but that's fine. Sometimes it's easier to keep to yourself than to trust others. She moves to stand up, but I surprise myself by reaching out to grab her hand. Bria, I don't need your pity. I thought the same thing. What? I still think the same thing. It's so much easier to close the world off. It's so much easier to trust no one but yourself, but it should also be a balance. That's what Rumpel has taught me. And I want to teach him how to have balances too. You? You're falling for his kindness the same way I did. You fell in love with him even though you told yourself he was shallow and unrealistic. Oh yeah, absolutely, Gano. Share it with us. There is a cosplay channel in the Discord, so like you could send it in there. We'll have a look. There's only like three what's it called? 3 different prizes kind of thing. That's gonna be for the cosplay competition, so not as many chances to win, but there will be better prizes. Instead of the last time we ran a full event where it was like 7 different like categories, and it was just like old pre-new me. I'm hoping to get some new stuff happening. Ooh. Is there anything in particular that I should be looking forward to, Amelia? Is there something that I really want to see there? Oh yeah, absolutely. I love when people just like get themselves out there. I wish I could do that more often. It makes me happy. I love seeing people's cosplays though. Like, I'm happy with people just doing like casual cosplays even, but like that doesn't really work for a cosplay competition. I just want to see people like walking around in casual cosplays like, that does it for me. Ooh, Ripley. What's Ripley from again? I need to... Now I'm getting distracted again. God damn it, guys. Ooh. Oh, I'm here for that, Amelia. I'm here for that. Okay, I want that. You need to do that. Thank you. Are you gonna be, like, making the gun for it? Oh my god, yes! Yes! I love that. Do that, do that, do that! My heart thumps once loudly in my chest. Love? I can read it right off your face. I know how it feels too, but... Don't get wrapped up in an ideal, little girl. That's my warning. Talk to Subby about GAMMA.CON. Yeah, fair enough. Sounds like a plan, Breezy. If you can help him actually help him, then you're meant to be together. But otherwise, trusting Rumple might only break your heart. I'm not a little girl, I know how to be realistic. My words trail off as I look at her helplessly. Bria surprises me by speaking up quietly. Thank you for listening to me. She pulls her hand away and slowly smiles at me. It's the first honest smile I've seen on her face. I feel something warm at my chest, and then a bright light emanates from my necklace. A good deed for listening to Bria, or... I glance down at the bag of journals, then down at my necklace. Could be both. I touch the pendant. The new piece gives me a brief smile to my lips. I have 2 good deeds now. Only one more and I can break my curse. Magic? Is this another fairy tale curse? Now kiss! Yes. Your name was Lucette, wasn't it? Rumple talked about you fondly. I hope that the 2 of you break your curses. Good luck. I don't know who that was. Bria walks away, leaving me by myself in the town square. My mind swells with everything that she just told me. I can't bring myself to like Bria, but I feel more closure now. But now something new plagues my mind. How could I fall in love with someone like Rumple? The more I say it, the more it becomes a certainty, but rather than fill me with joy, it only makes me more confused. I can't think about this now. I turn on my heels to head back and bump promptly into a man. It's this motherfucker again. Fuck you. Take 2 bedroom. What? Nothing. Don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Not at all. Not at all, Breezy. Not at all. Oh, sorry, madam. He smiles at me and then keeps walking. Motherfucker. He's the dickhead of this, Amelia. We don't like him currently. We don't have much of a background about him, but so far in every single route, he has been an absolute asshole. So, I stare after him, feeling slightly uncomfortable. With the mask and cloak, the man reminded me of a performer. I make my way back to the march-in with the bag of journals, still struggling to keep my mind from wandering. Yeah, so far he's, like, the first time we saw him, first and second? Every time we've seen him, he's been working with the bad guys. But also he doesn't care about when the bad guys lose, so like, also, dark version of Joker, I would not know. Maybe they had inspiration. Maybe not. Every time I think about Rumple being so close to me, or his kindness towards me, I feel jittery inside. Just see hair in front of my face. Despite everything that Bria said, I can't stop these feelings. These feelings are annoying. Yet even as I think that, I know it's not the full truth. Do I really... I hear the march-in's door opening and out steps Waltz. The minute he sees me, his eyes widens and he runs towards me. Princess, where were you? I was running an errand? I hold up the bag, but it does little to ease Waltz's frustration. We were all worried looking for you, and we got worried that the witches had found you. Rumple already went out into town. What? I'll go... Please, Princess. Stay inside. His expression softens somewhat until all I can see on his face is worry. I'll go get Rumple. Okay. My mood feels completely dashed as I enter the march into whispers, both relieved and disappointed. Surprisingly, I get away with just a lecture from Delora and Parfait. It seems as if there's something else on their mind, something that most likely involves the rumors circulating around town. I wait downstairs for a long time for Rumple, but neither him nor Waltz appear. Where are they? I retire to my room later as I wait for news. Waltz eventually returns, saying that Rumple is still out because he had things he wanted to do. I have no idea what that means, but it unsettles me. Should I go find him? We leave the room, apparently. I stand and stop for a moment to look at the bag of journals beside my bed. And here I was, looking forward to giving those journals to him. I make my way toward the door, turn the knob, and then walk outside. Princess! Before I can even think about saying anything, I feel his warmth envelop me and I freeze. One of his hands moves to the small of my back where it remains as he smiles down at me. I caught you just in time, my feisty sweet. Did you plan on escaping into the dead of night again? Plays idiot music. Look, I fucking wish. But when he's being nice, like, it's fine. It's when he does something absolutely fucking dumb, like a pun, that's when we get idiot music. Ooh, I'll have a look at it later, Garner. We're trying to do this. Have words abandoned you in wake of my dramatic appearance? I hurriedly pry myself away with a little gasp. A few steps back, I can see him in full, and I notice the bouquet he carries. I'm glad to see you back, Princess. I'm only sorry that I couldn't make it back here any faster. I had a few errands of my own to run in town. Rumple holds out the bouquet with a glittering smile. Like buying these flowers for the girl that I really like, for instance. I stare down at the beautiful bouquet as made up of white lilies. But the appearance slowly leaves my mind as I think of what Rumple just said. He bought them for a girl he likes, not for me. My heart feels as if it might be pierced through with something sharp. My breath escapes my throat, but I cannot bring myself to inhale again. Rumple looks at me in alarm. Lucette, I nudge him out of the way and walk past him. I make my way to the reception area where I collapse onto one of the couches and sit, staring blankly at the walls. The feelings inside of me are too much all at once. Bitch, he held them out for you! Can you not take a hint? Lucette needs idiot music for this. Wow. Okay. I bought these for a girl I like. Look! They're not for me. I tell myself they don't make any sense. And that the way I reacted to what Rumple said was pitiful. And yet I still can't stop myself from feeling small. I sink into the couch and close my eyes, willing away the sound of my rapidly beating heart and the tears stinging the edge of my eyes. I'm not weak, I will not cry. Mother told me. But the thought of Mother makes the tears worse, and soon I am sinking even further into the couch, trying to hide my tear-stained face in my hands. Mother, Bria, they both said the same things. They both see the bad in people, and I too have seen the bad in them. When I was on the streets, no one in Angiel showed me kindness. People will never show you kindness unless there's something in it for them. They will never... If a guy handed you flowers, you'd fucking adore them for life. Okay. Really, the only time that I'm handed flowers at this point is when my dad bought flowers for my mom and they're just like, here, you can do flower arrangement, have fun. And I'm just like, there goes an hour and a half of my life. But flowers. I need to look into, like, drying flowers at some point, because that sounds like fun. I also have resin sitting places, and that just sounds like fun too. Yay. I feel sudden warmth as arms wrap around me. I recognize this sensation. The warmth, the comfort. It's also comforting, so soothing. Pinky, same. Then again, I don't really want flowers that much. Look, if you've... Pinky, here's like a really good way to get flowers. Work somewhere for like 10 years and then get a new job and leave that job. And they'll probably give you flowers as like a goodbye. That's a good way to get flowers. That's all I got. That's all I got. I must be the worst person in the world to make such a beautiful lady cry as a sin that I must atone for. My body stiffens, but I don't pull away. I listen to the sound of his heartbeat against my ear, and slowly but surely my crying dies away. Oh, they hand out insults? Oof. Ouch. I feel drowsiness descend upon me like a blanket, but I will not fall asleep. Slowly I pry myself from the arms holding me. Hello, my love. I messed up again, didn't I? I don't see the bouquet in his hands, but a journal. One of the journals I brought back for him from Bria. You're capable of a lot more good than I am, princess. Just look at this. He reaches out and touches my necklace. I glance down at it. You got my journals back for me. I saw them in your room. And I feel it, that this one, the most recently dated one, is the one that I need to unlock my final memory. I grasp the second incomplete glass slipper around my neck and breathe out softly. And this really is from retrieving Rumpel's journals for him. I got a good deed for finally doing something good for Rumpel. Would you allow me to read it with you? If you could be picked up in a bridal hold. You know what, thinking about that, I don't get picked up by people. Despite being small, people don't pick me up. I feel like I need to hug people more too. I like hugging people. I need to put on my fluffiest jackets and just go around and hug people. That sounds like a fantastic idea. I need to do that one day. You know, when people aren't scared of getting sick from every single person close to them. Hugs are amazing. Hugs give you serotonin. Serotonin? Is that the right word? I think it's serotonin. The happy juice. He reaches out and gently brushes a tear from my face. You did all this for me and you barely know anything about me. Right word A. Thank you, Karma. That makes both of us. If you wouldn't mind, I want to read out this entry for you. I nod even though I should be shaking my head. Even though I should still be hurt. I can't stay mad at Rumpel. On this night, I am a poor man. Everything that is precious to me has been stolen away by the witch. Rumpel's voice catches in his throat as he stares at the words. I look over his shoulder at the journal. Witch. Was he already cursed when he wrote this? All of the hugs and the cuddles, yes. But I have no one to blame but myself. Bria told me before that I would suffer for my selflessness, and so now I find myself here. And now, because of that same selflessness, Bria is sick, and I can't save her. There's only one thing left to do. I've wronged Bria in so many ways, and now I will give anything it takes to save her. No matter what price the witch asks, I will pay for it. I only hope that Bria can forgive me before she leaves. I will write again when the witch has left. I swear that after today I will change for good. I will not ask the witch to perform any more miracles. Rumpel's finger goes to the page where he softly touches a single word. His eyes have the glazed look in them that they have before, and I can tell his memories are snapping back together. For tonight, good night, and may tomorrow be a better morning. I read the last word, a name and signature. Rumpel reads it aloud slowly. Chevalier Demon. Your name is Chevalier? He looks up at me, his eyes forlorn, and then with sadness he speaks. That's right. It's so strange. It's just a different name, and yet it seems to change him completely. I remember everything now. He has a fancy name! I was given the Rumpelstiltskin curse because I sacrificed too much. First it was the boy, the one we saw in the market. I struck a deal with a woman to save him. A witch. He mentioned striking a deal with a woman, but a witch? I don't have the ability to heal. None of us do, except for one particular witch who calls herself the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor? Is something wrong? That name just sounds familiar. The Witch Doctor? It's no wonder I recognize the name, but yes, it was her. She promised she could heal the boy, but for a price. I had to give her a family heirloom, my family stethoscope. Next was a nobleman. I couldn't help him, and so he lay in his bed dying. The witch visited again, and I gave her what she asked for. What did you give her? My engagement ring. Bria found out. She told me she'd never forgive me. And then she chased the nobleman to ask for the money we desperately needed, and... well, you know the rest. He gave away things that were precious to him, all to help those people. Then Bria got sick. I made one last deal with the witch because I was desperate to save her life. But it wasn't until after she healed Bria that she told me what she wanted. She wanted your memories. I don't remember what happened exactly. I think I panicked because I suddenly lost my memories. I ran out into the alleys, bumped my head on something, fell unconscious. And then I woke up here in the tavern and I had no idea who I was or how I had gotten cursed. Rumpel Chevalier's expressions grow more somber. I deserved to be cursed after everything I had done. I was so selfish. An idealist, maybe, but I hurt Bria because I refused to see reality. I still deserve to be cursed, actually. But why? Because I'm still selfish. Even having remembered everything that made me a bad person, I still desire something. Someone I shouldn't have. My heart plummets again as he looks at me. I still want so badly to forge a future with someone I don't deserve. Because what am I other than a poor doctor? I'm no knight in shining armor, and I'm no prince. He puts a hand on my cheek and leans closer to me. The distance between us closes in mere seconds. But still, I keep on dreaming because His fingers gently caress my cheek, and suddenly I know. I know what he's going to say before he even says it. Aww. We actually get an I love you scene, like, in chapter 8 instead of chapter 10? What is this? But I'm not... Whether you are Rumpel or Chevalier, you are the same person. You don't need to be a knight or a prince. He accepted me for who I was, and he still does. Mother told me that humans were untrustworthy, but... Chevalier smiles at me as he puts his other hand on my back and pulls me closer. The smile is so genuine and so gentle. The same smile I have grown to love. That's an actual fucking kissing scene, and I'm living. Thank you. I love it. Whatever words I had been meaning to say die in my throat as he leans forward and gently places his lips on mine. I feel more grounded than I've ever felt before, but I also feel like I'm flying. I set my hand on his chest and flex my fingers into his shirt. He runs his fingers gently down my face, then down the length of my neck. The kiss feels too short, yet I'm still breathless when Chevalier pulls away from me, just enough so I can see his eyes. I love you, my sweet princess. For your smile, for your laugh, and the way that you look out for other people. You're bold and feisty, and you remind me of a firework. You're beautiful, inside and out. The compliment warms my heart in a way that makes me feel like it might be melting. He reaches behind him and holds out the bouquet from earlier. These are for you. You like lilies, don't you? I take the bouquet from him and bring it to my nose. These have been always been my favorite flower. How did you know? Chevalier grins at me, and it's so similar to his previous smiles that I know he must not have changed. The first time I gave you that white chocolate flower, your eyes lit up. I figured out that Chevalier was perceptive before, but the bouquet in my hands feels all the more meaningful now. Princess, I swear that I want to try and change. For you. You should do it for yourself too. Myself? You should spoil yourself more too. You always give to others, but don't take for yourself. Now you know what you did, and you can change things. If Bria can, then so can I. Bria? I went and spoke to her when I was in town today, while I was getting the bouquet as a gift for you. We had a talk about moving on. I didn't understand it fully, and I don't think she did either, but we've both agreed that we should. So I'm going to change what I can, princess. And I promise that I'm going to help you break your curse, just as you helped me break mine. All the good things I've done are for you. That's true. But you've done a lot of other good things too, even if they may not be big enough to count for your 3 good deeds. It just so happens that your curse is very picky. Good things, even though I'm still cut and see more hurtful things than not. I finger the necklace at my neck in thought. Maybe Chevalier is right. Maybe I have changed, and it's a good change. I sit close to Chevalier as the night goes on. He tells me a little bit about his past, and I tell him about mine. About Mother and the palace. The night is not for one advice, just listening. Is not one for advice, just listening. And I remember what Chevalier told me once. That listening can be just as meaningful as advice. That listening to others can help you understand them. And he was right. Princess, are you okay? Oh, if it isn't the princess! Are those dark circles under your eyes from a romantic night out, You were out with someone last night? No, they are from being woken up early by Delora to do chores. Delora grins at me from the other side of the bar, but says nothing as she goes back to a conversation with another boarder. Darling, you're no fun at all. You must tell me what happened last night. Last night? Did you like the bouquet? How do you know about the bouquet? Why, because it was my suggestion. When Chevalier was asking Karma for advice, it was about me? Look at the way she smiled, Anise! Last night must have gone well. I'm confused. What happened last night? I'm gonna get Rumple to give me all of the juicy details when he comes downstairs. That is Chevalier to you. Chevalier appears behind Karma, smiling. He seems a lot calmer today than usual. He glances over at Karma at me, and we catch each other in a silent gaze. Seeing his eyes reminds me of last night, which makes me inadvertently flush. Chevalier just winks at me. Chevalier? What is that? Something you say when a person sneezes? No, that's his name. Rumple, that is. Chevalier. Broke his curse yesterday. There is stunned silence from everyone in the immediate area. Even Delora walks over to us. What's this about a broken curse? Was it you, Rumple? He's going by something that sounds like a fancy cake. Parfait seems to be bursting with excitement. Though she is her usual calm self on the outside, I can tell by the bounce in her step and by the way she raises her voice to make an announcement that she is proud. When everyone has learned that Chevalier has broken his curse, people come to the table offering drinks and congratulations. Chevalier gets lost in a crowd, mostly of women, but much to my surprise, Chevalier doesn't flirt back with any of them. And then, in between our celebrations for Chevalier, the front door to the Marchen opens and Waltz rushes inside. Where are Delora and Lady Parfait? I need to speak to them immediately. Waltz, you're just in time. We're all... Something has happened at the palace. The room goes quiet at Waltz's proclamation. A few people shift uneasily in their chairs. Some try to go back to conversation. Most people don't care what happens in the palace, but they can tell by the tone of Waltz's voice that it's bad. What's happened at the palace? An uprising. What? A coup staged by witches. Witches have taken over the palace. The information is so sudden it makes me dizzy. I reach out to grab the table in my hands and my hand lands on the wood before I can slip. Witches have taken over the palace? An army of them? No, only a few. Jurian strides across the room, followed quickly by Garland. What's this about witches taking over? We have some of the best knights at the palace. There's no way witches could break in under the palace's guard. Unless they had someone inside helping them. Allcaster? No, Myth. Who are we talking about? You know him as Mithros. He uses a different name now. Sir Mithros, the king's advisor? He's a witch? There's no way Mithros is a witch. We would have known. Glamour. He used a glamour. Everything Waltz says suddenly gets swallowed up in questions. Yeah, don't mess with witches. They're gonna curse your face off. That was stone cold by this point. That was not fun. Jurian and Garland ask question after question while others start surrounding Waltz to ask him what happened to the king and his children. I try to step closer to listen, but I can't hear of the frantic voices in the room. Sir Mithros. I never trusted him, but I never thought he would be a witch. The room only quietens down when Delora and Parfait come to punctuate the conversation with their own demands for everyone to give Waltz space. The marching boarders are all taken into the reception room where Waltz stands at attention waiting to answer questions. He explains that he was looking into a rumour about Sir Mithros from only a few days ago when he found about the witches' uprising. It was a surprise attack orchestrated by Mithros, who let the witches in through a secret entrance to the palace. Allcaster was killed during the uprising. Ooh, Allcaster is dead in this one. Oof. Many knights were injured and are currently being tended to in clinics and hospitals around the town. After his explanation, I feel even worse than I did in the main room. I stare at Waltz, at a loss. What of Fritz? Fritz? Sir Allcaster's son, Fitzgerald. He was my personal knight. If Sir Allcaster was killed during the uprising, where did that put Fritz? Was he working with Sir Allcaster or with Sir Mithros? Did he escape? I'm sorry, Princess. I haven't heard anything about a knight called Fitzgerald. Was he... killed? The thought makes my heart plummet. No, Fritz couldn't possibly dead. I have to believe that he's still alive. I feel Chevalier's hand on my shoulder, briefly, before it slides off. Are any of the king's knights remaining in the palace? If they've been forced to turn against the king, or they've been killed. Is Mithros sitting on the throne? No, he usurped the king, but hasn't taken his throne. Waltz turns to me and his expression softens. Princess, feel free to ask me whatever you want. I'm sorry I didn't answer all of your questions earlier. I have so many questions, but I suppose I'll ask them one at a time. Chapter 8. Apparently we just ask each of them. What's happened to the king and the others? I'm not sure. From what I've heard, the king and his family, your family, are still alive. I never cared for any of my step-family, but hearing that they're okay is still a relief. Mithros may be keeping them prisoner for now. What's the glamour that he used? Delora steps in to answer the question. A glamour is a high-level magic used to conceal one's identity. It keeps even other witches from sensing you. Parfait cast the same magic on you shortly after you came to the tavern. It was to protect you from evil witches. A glamour can only be conjured by the powerful witches. It sounds as if this witch has been using glamour to hide himself from others. Do you know Mithros? It was a long time ago. We both shared the same teacher. Teacher? Wait. Waltz, are you a witch? Yeah. He smiles at me, but it's weak and doesn't reach his eyes. Mithra was always very competitive. I thought that he died at the end of the Great War, but he's been in the palace this whole time. His disguise is so simple. I should have realized his name was so similar, but you couldn't have helped it. That's what the glamour does to you. Maybe if I wasn't cursed, if I had more of my magic, I would have been able to sense him. Who's claimed the crown? As of right now, no one. The king's been kicked off of the throne, and Mithros has made a public announcement about usurping the throne, but he doesn't call himself king. Is he trying to win the throne over for someone? Myth has no one left. He was obsessed with our teacher, but she is gone. Maybe he has different alliances now? Parfai's eyes look distant as she stares dismally down at the ground. If my curse were broken, I would charge in right now and destroy him. Waltz's expression becomes so dark it sends a shiver through me. It isn't like Waltz to look so angry. We need to come up with a plan. Even if you weren't cursed, you would still not be able to defeat Mithros when he has other witches with him. Fuck him in a good way, just not a bad way. I just read that. Witches are trickier to handle. Can't be plunged through with a sword, eh? I agree with Karma. If all of us go in with swords and shields, we should be able to take the palace back. This is what we've been practicing for. Practicing? Even witches will die if you stick a sword through their heart, won't they? But getting to a witch who knows you're there is difficult. I must do something. I want to help. Chevalier wraps his fingers around my wrist and frowns. Princess, this whole time I've been living at the March and I was spared the fate of the royal family by sheer coincidence because I was cursed. I can't just sit here and do nothing while the kingdom falls to a witch. It fell to witches before and there were dire consequences. I can't continue to be passive. I will not let myself be like Mother. Princess, I'm Lucette Riella Britton, the crown's princess of Antiel, and I will not stand by and watch when the kingdom is in turmoil. The room goes quiet at my statements. Chevalier's fingers loosen on my hand. I can see a ghost of a smile on his face, though it underlies his sorrow. Spoken like a true princess. Whether or not you want to help, Princess, you really can't. You won't be able to use magic until your 18th birthday. That's when you become the bearer. You can't let that stop me. I'll find a way. The conversations in the room continue for a long while. At some point, it's said that volunteers are needed at the hospitals and clinics for the injured soldiers. Chevalier immediately volunteers. Only afterward does he look at me with regret. Princess, I'm sorry. For what? For putting my job before you. And after all I just said. He told me he was going to try his best to change. Bria called him selfless for putting his work before her, but you would be a fool not to. My life isn't in any danger, and there are people who need you more than I do. Do what you do best, Chevalier. Princess Lucette. I promise you I will do whatever I can to help you as well. As the meeting disbands, I am left standing there in quiet. The last to leave is Waltz, who promises me that he will make things right. I'm going to trust everyone, but I'm also not going to stand idle. I will make things right somehow. As is my responsibility as Crown Princess. The Witch Puppet! Okay. Another long night. The two of us are on our way back to the Marchen after visiting a clinic in town. We were there for hours and it's a relief to be out in the open now, where I can feel the wind on my skin. Are you okay, Princess? I know that what you saw must have been difficult. I'm sorry I couldn't shield you from the majority of it. I volunteered to help Chevalier at the clinic part-time, but it's worse than I had expected. Many of the soldiers have severe wounds. I had thought that most of the injuries sustained by the knights during the upheaval were only minor, but I was wrong. Their injuries are much worse. Princess? He reaches out and laces his fingers through mine, then gives me a soft smile as he squeezes my hand. Are you okay? I'm fine. It's only been 1 day since the uprising at the palace. I had thought that there would be less blood. I was wrong. Is this what things were like after the Great War? I wasn't a fully certified doctor after the Great War, but I was an assistant. It was far worse than this, Princess. We cannot have a repeat of the Great War. I don't know why Mithros would kill Sir Allcaster and take the throne without claiming the crown, but the witches already have a bad name and he's making it worse. I cannot help but remember the wide smiles Mithros gave me when I was still living in the palace. Every time I felt his eyes on me, I felt there was something strange about him. There was always a cloudiness to his eyes, something unreadable. He was excellent at his job, but always an enigma outside of it. A sudden breeze chills my skin. Let's go back before you freeze out here. The two of us begin our walk back to the Marchen. Thoughts of the palace, the king, and my stepfamily cloud my mind. Since I've been staying at the Marchen, I've not seen Rod once. I was never sure if it was because he was ignoring me, or if it was because he only wanted to speak to Parfait. Regardless, I hope Rod and his family are okay. I would never wish this treatment upon anyone, not even to ones I hated. As we walk, I glance up at Chevalier, whose head is tilted skyward. I catch the glimmer of lights in his eyes and smile. Even for just a moment, I can forget about everything when I'm beside him. He has a way of taking the weight off my shoulders. But as the Crown Princess, I can't let others carry my burden for me. I must find a way to protect the others. Even if it means putting myself in danger or harming someone in order to protect someone else. What do you think is the easiest and fastest way to kill someone? Chevalier's body goes rigid beside me. He stops to stare at me, wide-eyed. I'm just asking if I'm ever in danger. I've never fought anyone before. I can retaliate, but I don't know how to actually harm anyone. To kill someone is to end a life. It is stealing away a life that others might love. You bear the burden of that death for the rest of your life. I pull myself away from him. But Mithros is not an innocent man. Would you rather he kill the royal family instead? No, it's not that, Princess. I know he must be stopped at any cost. It's just, I would never want you to have to kill someone. How would you know what it was like to kill someone? You've only ever helped people, not hurt them. You saw the soldiers in the clinic today. You saw how close some of them were to death. Did you see the hollow look in their eyes? I've seen that look many times. It's the look of a man who clings desperately to life. Every life is precious. And a life is still a life, whether it's vile or not. It's still a responsibility you have to bear. I know how valuable and fragile lives are because I've helped so many people. We stand quiet for a few moments, facing each other. I know I'm at odds with Chevalier. He speaks the truth, but I also know that I speak my own version of the truth too. The world is a place where only the strong survive. People are kind, but they will take advantage of those who are too caring. Bria told me that Chevalier was so selfless he became selfish. She told me that he never had anything because he gave everything to others. His kindness has hurt others, and I fear that it was a likely chance to hurt him as well. What if his reluctance to hurt anyone causes him to be the one that is injured? Chevalier suddenly breaks the silence. Most people think that the easiest way to kill a person is to stab them through the heart. Those people would be wrong. He puts his hand over the heart and stares dismally down at the ground. He removes his hand briefly, but only to reach for mine. He takes my hand and settles it on his chest, slightly to the left. I can hear the beating of his heart beneath my palm. It's soft and gentle. What can you feel besides the beating of my heart? The ribs? Yes. In order to stab the heart, you'd have to get through the ribs. That's why most of the soldiers in there who got stabbed in the chest are still alive. If you want to quickly kill someone, you have to stab somewhere where it would be difficult to stem the blood from a wound. Do you have any idea where that might be? We're talking about how to murder people right now. The skin on the neck is thinner and you have lots of blood flow under the skin, going right to your head. It would most likely be easier to slice or pierce something more vulnerable in the neck without running into as much resistance. Chevalier raises an eyebrow. Did you happen to pick that up somewhere around the clinic? No, I simply guessed. And you have a bright mind, Princess. Chevalier moves my hand to the side of his neck. My fingers curl slightly when I feel his heartbeat reverberate beneath my fingers. This part is where you can find the jugular vein and the carotid artery. Carotid artery. Yes! It's murder time, Karma. He runs my fingers down the length of it, and I shudder. A mischievous smile brightens his face. Not only does cutting at the neck stop blood from going to the head, but it also makes it spurt. If both the vein and the artery are cut, it only takes a minute to bleed to death. Thus, one of the best ways to kill a person would be through the neck. Why are you telling me all this now? I was just enlightening a new pupil with an anatomy lesson. You asked me a question, and I responded as a teacher. Chevalier's fingers loosen on my hand, and I grasp his hand tighter in response. Princess, I don't want you to have to bear the burden of a murder. I promise that I'll protect you, so you don't have to defend yourself with violence. I can't use a sword or magic, and I don't know how to fight, but I will always be there to protect you. I may not have an abundance of muscles beneath these sleeves, but I am a doctor. No one knows the body better than I, so, though it may not be heroic, I know how to hurt a person. His sincere expression, though pained, tells me that he's telling the truth. I don't want Chevalier to hurt a person either. It would destroy everything he's worked towards as a doctor. He's seen so much suffering, and yet always seems untouched by it. I'll do anything I can to protect his positivity. The marching was quiet when we returned. Everyone had already disappeared into their rooms, and so I went straight to mine. I also forced Chevalier to go back to his. He's been on his feet all day and he needs the rest. I plopped down onto my bed as soon as we returned home. I glanced briefly to the side where Chevalier's bouquet is in the vase Parfait had given to me. Who is it? Parfait. Come in. You've returned. Parfait looks paler than normal. I realize with a sharp start that Chevalier didn't tend to her at all today. Don't look at me like that. I'm fine. How were the soldiers at the clinic? Not good. Many of them have been gravely wounded. Some said they remembered magic, others say they don't remember anything at all. A shadow falls over Parfait's expression as she sighs. So the circumstances are direr than we thought. It's a good thing Chevalier is there to lend a helping hand. Did you all manage to come up with a plan? It's proving more difficult than we anticipated. Delora and I are willing to put ourselves in danger. Waltz is too, because he can use magic to a certain extent. The knights and Karma have their blades. But Chevalier... I don't want to involve him in this. Because you're worried about him. Of course I am. You've grown, Princess. You remind me of a younger Hilda. Back then, Hilda was both calm and resilient. One moment she could be smiling ear to ear, the next she could be strict and unmovable as the coldest ice. The two of us were like sisters. We did so much together. We learned together, explored the kingdom together. I can say with all certainty that we were the best of friends. And then the fairy tales happened. When Hilda killed the first human, she was corrupted. Her darkness swallowed her whole. I don't remember a time before Mother was corrupted, and so I cannot imagine the woman Parfait describes. I know the old Hilda would have wanted to show you the beauty in things, Princess. She would not want you to suffer. I'm so sorry you became so embroiled in things. It was inevitable. If Delora hadn't cursed me, then I would still be in the palace, and I would be just as helpless as everyone else. So while I'm out here, I have the responsibility to help everyone. I touch the incomplete glass slipper at my neck. I still haven't even done 3 good deeds. Don't look so sad. You'll complete your 3 good deeds and things will go back to normal. And of course you'll still have friends here when you return. And come your 18th birthday, Delora and I will teach you about magic. Waltz is eager to help too. But for now, our top priority is a plan. Rest easy, Princess. Things will work out. It's hard to believe that this problem could be so easily solved, but I'll try to believe. When Parfait leaves, I'm left to my own thoughts. I hope everyone at the palace is okay and that they can hold on until we come up with our plan, but I feel like we're already running out of time. Days go by and I find myself assisting Chevalier at times. Other times I remain at the March-In to help conceptualize a plan. None of our plans have actually shown any promise yet, but with all of our minds put together, we should be able to come up with something. A week later, I find myself standing outside the clinic door waiting for Chevalier. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, Princess. You can drop the title, you know. Lucette, but you are a princess in my eyes. Yes, but you don't need to address me by title. Just my name is fine. Chevalier reaches out to take my hand, then immediately pulls his hand back, eyes wide. Ah, I forgot it. Forgot what? The medicine that I needed for Parfait. Give me a moment, Lucette. Chevalier plants a quick kiss on my forehead before running inside. I stare at the stars as I wait. I turn but see no one walking around the plaza. I inch closer around the door of the clinic as I take another look around. Boo. I suddenly see the silhouette of a man. He takes a few more steps towards me and then stops in front of me. I recognize him immediately. His appearance left quite an impression on me last time. Out at night by yourself? Certainly you know that wolves prowl these streets at night. What do you want? I take a step back and press myself to the door. I reach for the door handle, but the man reaches out a hand to grab my wrist, holding it to the door. I'd say my answer to that question is complicated, Princess. By the expression on your face, I must have hit the nail right on the head, eh? You are the princess. How do you know who I am? That's part of the mystery, isn't it? I attempt to wrestle my wrist out of his fingers. Come with me quietly and you won't get hurt. We scream like a little girl. It's like, ah! I will say that screaming like a little girl is probably the best thing to do in these situations, because little girls have the highest pitch fucking scream you will get. Like, little boys compared to little girls will pierce your eardrums. I refuse to go anywhere with him. I open my mouth to scream, but before I can even breathe, the man's hand flies to my mouth. You're a disobedient one, aren't you? I struggle against his grasp. It doesn't take long for the grin to fall from his face. It's replaced with a look that lacks any amusement. I enjoy seeing you struggle, but I'm afraid we've been out here for far too long. I bang my shoulder against the door and a resounding creak follows my attempt. No more Mr. Nice Guy. The man opens a vial right in front of my face. Something sweet wafts in the air and I suddenly feel myself falling into a darkness as I collapse. So this arsehole. Where am I? I glance around me. My room? I look around cautiously, checking to see if anything in my room is different. Last time I was here was before I was cursed. How is it that this room is the same? Sleeping Beauty has awoken. I move to stand up before realizing that my legs are numb. Shame to see you so easily tamed, Princess. And here I thought you would be fun. I glanced to look up at the man who is now standing right at my bedside. How do you know who I am? Are you a witch? No, this is not Myth. Myth is a green-haired asshole. And we have interacted with them in the same room before. We have seen them in the same room before. He is not Myth. He is a different mysterious character, which I assume we will find out during the roots of the next two, of the last two characters that we try to get. A witch? Me? He bursts into laughter. I would rip the witches to shreds if I could. If he could? Then you're cursed. The man simply smirks at me, but says nothing in response. He brushes the words aside with a gesture of his hand. Are you working for Mithros? Probably. I glare at his vague answer. My name is Varg, and I've been assigned to be your personal knight. I already have a personal knight. Oh, you mean Fritz? I got rid of him. No playing with the Queen's daughter, Varg. See? There's Mithros. He's a dick. Mithros enters the room. Now he stands in the doorway, eyeing the both of us with a smile that is so oddly reminiscent of his usual one that it makes me sick. Mithros? Princess, you look more and more like your mother every day. Why, the scowl on your face is almost a perfect reflection. He moves to stand in front of me. At the same time, Varg begins to take slow and careful footsteps to the edge of my room. What have you done with everyone? Inconsequential or consequential? What? Mithros clicks his tongue impatiently. Inconsequential or consequential people? I narrow my eyes at him. I have no idea who he defines as inconsequential or consequential. Where are the king and the rest of my family? Where is Fritz? Were you the one who killed Sir Ulcaster? Inconsequential and consequential then. To start, your knight is gone, princess. I've replaced him with Varg here. Is that a literal? Is that a literal replacement? And Ulcaster? Well, we had a common cause at first. We both wanted the crown. Sir Ulcaster was also betraying the king? But Ulcaster was a brute. He wanted to needlessly kill the royal family and steal the crown for himself. At first I had thought he was calm and calculating. But it turns out he was just a power-hungry fool. Though I did want to take the crown, I wanted to avoid the bloodshed of certain important people. Mithros smiles at me. It's a look that makes my blood run cold. So I disposed of him and the rest of his knights. Oh, but don't worry, princess. I assure you that your family is resting in their rooms, just like you are resting in yours. What? Don't worry, you'll see them shortly for dinner. I have my doubts about Sir Mithros' story, but if what he said was true, then Sir Ulcaster wanted to kill the royal family and Mithros saved them. Then he decimated the knights and took the royal family hostage? Why would he do such a thing? They're prisoners, then. Prisoners in their own home? Nonsense! We're all just awaiting the Queen's return together. The Queen? Slowly I feel pieces beginning to fit together. The Queen. He cannot be talking about Ophelia. Delora, do you think witches are capable of bringing back the dead? Mother is dead. Is she really? You can bring Mother back from the dead? We can, princess. We? The Queen has been resting for a long time, waiting for you to gain your powers so you can help her escape her prison. You're not making any sense. I struggle to keep my words from faltering. How is Mother alive? And what does he mean by a prison? The Tenebrarum is the Queen's prison. It's linked to the Queen's power. Though others presumed she was dead, the Queen sealed the last of her powers inside the crystal. All she requires is your power, princess. My power? When you become the next bearer, you will have the ability to release the Queen from her prison. My birthday's in a week. That's when I'm meant to take on the responsibilities of becoming the bearer, though Parfait and Delora never went into more detail beyond that. You'll finally get to see your mother again, princess. I still cannot quite take in everything he's just said. However, if Mithros has approached me before the curse, I would have helped Mother in a heartbeat. But it was Mother who was the last Tenebrarum bearer and the one who brought darkness to Angiel. I once believed that Mother was the only person to ever love me. Now I know that I was wrong. That she shut me up in a world that I should have known. But still, even now I wish she was here. I take a deep breath. But I cannot afford to be selfish. I cannot afford to put anyone else in danger. I will not help you. You don't have a choice, princess. I have set the stage for my queen's return. All that's left is to free her from her cage. We'll speak more of this at the dining table. Mithros leaves the room, leaving me briefly with Varg. Varg smiles at me beneath his mask, then brings his index finger to the temple of his head and loops it. He mouths the word crazy. He's like... ah! Okay. This guy's at least amusing, I will say that. And if I'm correct, then Fritz was cursed, and this is Fritz. That's what I think. You said you would tear witches apart, so why do you serve Mithros? A good question. Has he got like a Pinocchio curse or something? Turned into a fucking puppet? You're not gonna answer me. How perceptive of you, princess. He smirks at me before following Mithros out the door. I'm once again left by myself in the room. Everything Mithros just told me swells through my mind. My mother? Alive? And he killed everyone only to take the crown and keep it for her. A shudder runs through my body. She cannot return. I spend the next hour looking around my room for things that might aid my escape. I know where everyone else's rooms are too, but I have no idea how heavily guarded they are, and I doubt that I could help them. I must return to the margin. I test the window, but it's locked. Probably with magic. I search my shelves. The dolls that used to comfort me can do nothing for me now. Last, I check my drawers, but though there are many things in them, there is nothing that looks like it could help me escape. As I'm searching, I come across a box and pause to pick it up. I remember this. It was given to me by Mother with strict instructions not to open it and always keep the key hidden. I search the drawer again for the key. The moment I begin to set the box down, I see a small golden key at the bottom of the drawer. I pick it up and am about to open the box when I stop. This is hardly a priority right now. I set the key down next to the box. I should be searching for a way to escape. I turn to see Varg's smiling face at the door. You look like a criminal who's just been caught doing something naughty. Says the criminal himself. Doesn't strike you as a wooden blockhead. You got a point. No, it's just that Fritz... I'm pretty sure Fritz had gold eyes as well, but Fritz had silver hair. And Fritz was kind of like a puppy. It could be a whole... He's been turned into a puppet for Mithros. And... I don't know. In that same vein, he's not allowed to speak about it. I can't think of anything. I don't know what it would be. Fairy tales. Think of a fairy tale. Something that could cause that to happen. A change in appearance and forced slavery. Yeah. Maybe we're meant for each other. I narrow my eyes as he approaches. Behind his back, I can make out the open door. The chapter is called Witch's Puppet. I mean... Yeah. Yeah. I forgot about that. Just... Yep. So most likely, Pinocchio. He's Pinocchio. That's like it. Yeah, we'll find out when we try to do Fritz's route next week. Don't even think about it. You don't want me to pounce you in the hallways, do you? That would be unpleasant. Varg grabs my wrist. I attempt to struggle free, but he holds tight to me. I'll be your escort to dinner tonight. I keep my head held high as Varg escorts me from the room. On the way to the dining hall, I glimpse the rest of the palace. It's mostly empty, save for a few soldiers. I am very good at missing things there, Gano, so it's good that someone's paying attention. He's gonna what in the hallways? He was going to jump us. Yes, that is the point, Frosty. That is the point. On the way to the dining hall, I glimpse the rest of the palace. It's mostly empty, save for a few soldiers. The soldiers that do stand there have a glazed look in their eyes and look right through me. Puppets. A spell cast by Mithros? Varg doesn't answer me as he pulls me through the hallway. Soon I find myself in the dining hall. The guards usually standing by the walls are gone. Now there's only the royal family and they seem to be unharmed. You... I can see recognition in the king's eyes. My heart flutters as he stands or tries to. He manages to rise, but only barely. I notice that his feet stay firmly planted where they are. Everyone's bodies look exceptionally stiff. Is this some kind of spell? You were the girl that was outside my palace months ago. Mithros, what is the meaning of this? I notice that the king is not at the head of the table as usual. Everyone sits on the table's sides except for Mithros, who is at the far end. The king's seat, however, is clear. I simply brought back the crown princess. You should be thanking me, Gennaro. I've reunited you with your daughter. My daughter? The king raises an eyebrow, clearly skeptical. I can see it in his eyes that he's loath to trust anything Mithros has to say. The king slaps in his chair as Varg leads me to a seat just beside Rod. I notice Emmeline sitting just to Rod's side. She forces a smile onto her face, but I can see tears gathering in her eyes. Okay. See you soon, Gano. Allow me to offer a more formal introduction to you for our guest, even though you all know her. Her name is Lucette Riella Britton, and she is the crown princess of Angiel. And your blood daughter, Gennaro. The king looks at me again. This time there is more uncertainty in his gaze. Prince Rod will tell you, won't he? Rod? Rod looks at me, his gaze quiet but expectant. I turn to the king and the rest of my stepfamily. It's nice to meet you. There's no point in trying to convince the king of my birthright here and now. I would only confuse him more, and now is not the time or place. I glance at Mithros, who is smiling at me expectantly. Besides, Mithros must have a reason for insisting on my birthright right now. Most likely he just means to confuse the king more. If that's the case, I won't play into such a petty scheme. My name is Lucette. Thank you for your kindness that one time. Rod looks shocked. I scowl at him before turning to look at Mithros. Mithros' smile has turned into a frown. I feel proud in seeing him caught off guard. Lucette, what are you doing here? Gennaro, she is undoubtedly your daughter. That is why she is in the room that you've been taking care of. What? The king's eyes widen. He looks at a loss for words. Princess, the king has been keeping your room clean and tidy for the sake of nostalgia, and he has no idea why. Magic works in interesting ways, doesn't it? I was wondering why my room was unchanged, but could it be that the king remembers me somehow? I look up at him, but he's already glanced away from me, his expression a complicated twist of confusion and helplessness. It seems that even the king doesn't fully understand. I turn to Mithros. It can work in both good and bad ways. Ah yes, the fairy tale curse is terrible, isn't it? I catch Varg's eyes from the side of the room. He glances away from me and I follow his gaze to the corners of the room. I hadn't noticed them before, but now I see cloaked figures hiding in the shadows. Witches. They must be the ones holding everyone in place if they try to escape. But not all magic is terrible, like the magic we will use to revive the queen. You're insane! Hilda is mad! You have no right to refer to her by name. A sudden chill envelops the room. I can feel actual icicles on the table. I pull my hands away. Now, we're going to eat dinner, and we're going to enjoy it. And every day will be just like this until the queen returns. Rod glares across the table at Mithros. Why? Why would we not enjoy dinners together? That's not what I meant. Why go through this charade day after day? I stare across the table at Mithros, glaring. I already told you before. I had to clear this place of traitors. Allcaster planned on stealing the crown, and I stole it back. But because the time of the Queen's revival is so close, I have decided to keep the crown with me until I can return it to its appropriate owner. Queen Hilda is the true owner of the crown. I thought it best that we all wait out her arrival together. But know this, when my queen demands it, I will kill all of you. I simply refuse to act without her orders. This time, guards come into the room with food. They set it before us, and we're forced to eat beneath Miss Rose's watchful gaze. Though I try to spot an opening in the dining hall, I can find no way out. This really is a prison. 2 days pass, I've been searching for ways out and trying to ease more answers out of Varg and Mithros. Neither of them is very forthcoming. Both enjoy speaking in riddles. Varg especially is an enigma. Whenever I try to ask him about Fritz, he smirks at me and remains silent. What? Not gonna try asking me any questions tonight? I'm not gonna get any answers from Varg, and it's almost my birthday. I need to find a way out of here. I'm disappointed. You're the only fun I have in here, princess. Maybe if I'm quiet, he'll leave me alone. If you're gonna be quiet and sulk, then I guess I should be going. Remember, don't try anything funny. There are knights just outside your door. Varg bows mockingly. He leans down to pat me on the head before he turns and leaves. I can't give up. I once again begin my search through the room. Time is running out, and there is nothing that I can do besides search for a way out. But I know that if I leave the room, the knights will catch me immediately. If I had a weapon, I might stand a chance. I put my fingers to my neck and remember what Chevalier told me about it. Sleep. The sound comes from outside my door. It's a woman's voice. The door opens, and suddenly Chevalier and Delora are both in my room. Princess! I'm startled to see Chevalier standing before me, his eyebrows drawn over his eyes with great worry. And beside him stands Delora with her arms crossed. Well, aren't you a sight for sore eyes? We're here to stage a daring rescue. I rush to Chevalier and wrap my arms around him. He puts a hand on the small of my back and smiles down at me. We're going to get you out of here, princess. How did you both get in here? With the power of magic. Dramatic even at a time like this. The two exchange a look before looking at me seriously. Parfait, Waltz, the Knights, and Karma are all here. We thought we'd just be fighting witches, though. We weren't expecting the Knights. No matter what he said, we couldn't get through to them. They're under a spell. Mithros. He wants to release Mother. Both of them look at me with confusion. What? Mother is still alive, just inside the Tenebrarum. Mithros wants to bring her back. That's impossible. The Queen is still alive? Chevalier looks worried while Delora's expression is more rigid and resolute. We cannot let that happen. I don't know how the Queen would be alive in the first place, but... well, we'll worry about that later. Right, we have time later to discuss the specifics of everything, but right now we need to get out of here. Right. Everyone's keeping the guards and witches busy for you, princess. I'll distract Mithros. Chevalier, I'm counting on you to get the princess to safety. Blech. That's why I'm here. Princess, can you guide me through the palace? I can't just leave everyone here. Don't worry. Garland is seeing to saving your family. No, I cannot just leave everyone in the march in here to do things for me. Lucette, we cannot afford to lose you. I told you I would do anything to protect you, and I will. The sooner you're safe, the sooner we'll have the advantage. You're the legitimate heir to the throne and the next Tenebrarum bearer. You cannot let yourself remain in Mithros' hands. The situation is indeed most dire, so for now, we must hurry. I nod my head feebly. Without another word, the three of us head toward the door. Delora exits first and stops immediately. I almost run into her. I glance through the doorway and see Varg waiting just outside, holding a blade across Delora's neck. Delora holds up her hand and deflects the sword as it slides harmlessly past her neck. Varg slides away, still holding out his sword. His usual smirk is half-hearted at best. Get out of our way. You're awfully demanding, aren't you? Pretty please? No can do, my lady. Shame. Looks like I'll have to destroy that pretty mask of yours along with everything else but underneath. Delora holds up her hands and summons a wall of electric orbs. With a flick of her wrist, she sends them rushing toward Varg, who dodges them with surprising speed. Varg's movements appear sluggish, but I've seen his fast reflexes. He's playing with Delora, even though I don't think he has the advantage. He drops the sword, and for a few moments I feel Delora has the advantage. Then, suddenly, he raises the cane he usually holds at his side and taps it on the ground. A burst of smoke escapes from the bottom of it, shrouding the room. An enchanted cane? You're not the only one with tricks up your sleeve. Delora! Chevalier, get her out of here! Let's go, princess. Chevalier takes my hand in his and begins to lead me away. I turn to glance back at Delora and Varg and realize that while Delora is completely on the offensive, Varg does nothing but dodge. It's as if he's trying to buy time for something. I banish the thought from my head as Chevalier pulls me down the hall. How rude! Haven't you heard of chivalry? It is a nice. It was a nice cane. It's a very fancy cane. I spot Karma still in his dress, holding a sword out at the man in front of him. When the man lunges, Karma dodges back and grunts as his back comes to the wall. I suppose chivalry is dead then. He steps off to the side as the possessed knight attacks him with his blade. The sword catches in his dress but doesn't hinder him from stepping forward and aiming a jab with his sword beneath the knight's armor. The knight keels, but the sword does not fall from his hand. Karma looks up at us sharply. What are you doing just standing there? Move! It takes me a moment to realize that just as I was frozen, so too was Chevalier. His face is pale as he grabs my hand again and once again starts rushing me down the other end of the hall. Chevalier's steps are wider than mine and I have to struggle to keep up. But the further we go down the hallway, the more apparent it becomes that there are too many obstacles in the way. We pass Jurian and Garland as we move too, and they manage to clear a path for us. These knights, will they not stop moving until Mithros is defeated? I hope the king and everyone else is safe. As we pass Jurian and Garland, I tell them where the royal family is, but I have no way of knowing if the words reach their ears amidst all of the sound. Chevalier? So the stab wounds in the armor that I saw earlier were from the knights themselves. But why would they battle each other? What? The punctures in the armor that we saw at the clinic. The stab wounds in the gut and at the arms. Chevalier's eyes are so distant. It's as if he is looking right through me. We need to keep moving. How can the knight fight without eyes? He's a background character. He has special skills. We need to keep moving. I take his hand and lead him forward. I don't know what he's talking about, but we can talk about this later. Right now we have to escape. We're closer to the palace entrance when we see them. A group of knights stand in two lines on both sides of the hall, facing each other. At the far end of the hallway stands a gaggle of witches, and in between them, Mithros. Good evening. Did you enjoy your stroll around the palace? Chevalier immediately moves to stand in front of me. The cloudiness is gone from his eyes. But what leaves his mouth is not a demand, but a question. How could you do this? How? It was quite easy, actually. You know what I mean. Why would you make the knights fight one another? What a foolish question. Obviously, it's because they're inconsequential. On a stage, some pawns exist as easily replaceable extras. I'm interested in keeping only the actors. In the grand scheme of things, the extras aren't needed. In fact, I can make them do whatever I need in order to get the best outcome. Yes, he does look like someone who should be stabbed. Funny you should mention that. He snaps his fingers and the knights raise their swords. I tense, thinking that the knights are going to turn to us, but they never do. Here's an interlude for you to enjoy. Oh, Jesus, he's making them fight each other and just... Sheesh. The knights are attacking each other? The sound of metal ringing against metal fills the air. The knights' swords arc, dive, and stab. Mithros watches from behind them, the sly smile never leaving his lips. The two of us can only stand there, stunned into silence. It isn't long before we can see red. The smell of blood begins to linger in the air as swords cut through flesh. Abruptly, I snap to my senses. I attempt to move forward, but Chevalier remains firmly grounded. Chevalier! I heard many things about the doctor working at the clinics. I heard that he was a volunteer who had assisted in helping the injured during the Great War. I also heard that, until just recently, he had been cursed. I knew immediately upon seeing you that you were that volunteer. I suppose it's unavoidable that you and the princess know each other. But to think you would be so close. Chevalier just stares blankly ahead. He looks almost like he's under a spell. His eyes are glazed. I continue to call his name. His eyes follow the sword movements of the knights, and he doesn't even spare me a glance. Have I unraveled the doctor? Not like mother. Yes, all of the pieces on the chessboard are important. Especially the pawns. If you get the pawns to the other side, you can change them into anything. The pawns are actually, potentially the best pieces that you can have on a chessboard. Chevalier, don't listen to him. Just look at all of these men you cannot save. All of these men dying before your eyes. Chevalier, we have to get away from here. How many people have you really saved? In the grand scheme of things, you have no talent. That's why you sought help from a witch. Fuck you. Yeah, more queens. Ow! Mithros' voice is oddly calm, and I can feel some sort of presence in the air that's different from normal. A knight plunges a sword through another's gut, causing him to lose his sword. The sword skitters across the floor, gleaming underneath the moonlight. I look desperately at Chevalier and realize that the magic has already worked its way to him. He doesn't see anyone except for Mithros, who is still smiling at him from behind all the knights. I glance at the sword, remembering what Chevalier taught me. Mithros is unguarded right now, but I have better judgment than that. And I told Chevalier that I was going to steer clear of the burden of taking someone's life. I have a promise to keep. I gaze up at Chevalier and realize that this was how he looked every time he regained a memory. Like he was stuck in his own mind. Yes, multiple queens is dangerous for the other player, because they have so many, they have so much potential in moving. Very, yeah. I like my way of explaining chess, the reasons why, chess pieces move the way they do, and that the reason the queen is the best at, has the best movements is literally just because gossip can bring someone down better than, hiring an assassin or something. Like, a queen saying something at, a tea party or something can be, the end of, a noble. Yeah. Also, women are brutal. Female gossip is brutal. There's only one thing I can think of to get him out of this trance. I'm pretty shit at chess, but sure. I clench my hand into a fist, and I punch Chevalier in the face. Ow! God's my face! Impossible! Chevalier's eyes clear, and when he looks at me I can tell he's distraught, but his eyes are seeing the present. Sorry, I thought I lost you. I suppose I needed that, didn't I? Chevalier smiles sheepishly. It's fleeting and gone by the time we both turn to Mithros again. Chevalier looks straight past the still fighting knights. If this bothers Chevalier, which it must, he hides it beneath a neutral expression. How did you break my spell? You can't even use any magic. She didn't break it with magic. She broke it with the power of love. A punch full of love. Oh, Garp's Fist of Love. That's where it came from. Cool, good to know. I stare at him skeptically. We both know that's not true, and I know Chevalier well enough to know that he doesn't mean that. But Mithros looks furious. Love? Pah! As if some fairy tale love could save you from this predicament. Princess, you're a witch. We feed off negativity, off of chaos and loathing. Love serves us no power. Life is about balance. Lucette taught me that. And though I might not be able to uphold a balance of negatives and positives myself, I am at least going to try. You could try to do the same. Maybe look beyond your depressing life and start reaching for something that gives you happiness. Something that won't plummet you back into the same darkness. Mithros snaps his fingers and the knights all freeze. Then they turn to us, swords raised. Yeah. Love hurts. In multiple ways. I don't need to be lectured by some lovesick fool. By all means, cling to your love. I will show you how fragile it is. Witches don't need love. Mithros holds out his hands and the knights begin their steady, deadly march towards us. Chevalier takes my hand and pulls me back. But I see my opening in the narrative. Mithros enjoys inflicting pain with his words. And I can do the same. If you don't need love, if you don't need affection, then why are you doing all of this for Mother? I'm not... You're doing it to be recognized. Why? Every student wants to impress their teacher. His words are calm, but there is a desperation in them. Mother was Mithros' teacher? I had thought he was just reviving her as another witch, but... Do you know Mithros? It was a long time ago. We both shared the same teacher. Teacher? Wait. Waltz, are you a witch? Yeah. Waltz was Mother's student? No, I can't think about that now, but I can use this to my advantage. I don't remember Mother's students in the least, but one of them turned out right. The other did not, and I can see the bitterness in you. It's the same bitterness I held, only yours goes deeper. You will not sway me with your foolish words. The knights begin to rush us. Their run is more of a pathetic shuffle given the harmed state that they're in, but this doesn't slow them down. We're going to run. But trust me, Princess, I will protect you no matter what happens. He grabs my hand and we wait. I can see Chevalier's eyes darting around as he searches for an opening. I can feel the pulse of his quickened heartbeat through his hand, and I know he's panicking. Suddenly, there is a massive luminescent gold wall in front of us. The knights stumble right into it, their swords hitting the bright barrier. Are you two okay? Parfait rushes to stand in front of us. Mithros' expression is a cold, angry glare. He measures the situation with critical eyes, and then he turns away and begins to dart down the hall. Ugh. Parfait collapses to one knee, arms still outstretched to maintain the barrier. Delora appears. She's flustered and bleeding on one arm, but she still stands straight. Delora holds up her hand and summons fire. Put down the shield, Parfait, I have this. Parfait releases the shield and the magic projectiles shoot out the knights. The two edge the knights back through the hallways, but I can see Parfait growing weaker and weaker by the moment. Parfait takes a deep, shuddering breath as she tries to stand. When she falls yet again, Chevalier takes a step forward and looks at her urgently. Lady Parfait! I'm fine, don't fuss. Her breathing is laboured, but she still manages to smile. I fought in the Great War. This is nothing. She looks at me and Chevalier. You two need to leave. But you're... Fine. I just need to gather my energy. A spell from Delora sends the knights sprawling to the ground after she creates a heavy downpour of rain that quickly turns to ice. You two keep going. The entrance is clear. I notice the witches that had been standing behind Mithros approach us now. Delora stands at the ready. I can still tell that she's hiding a great amount of stress behind her smirk. Parfait slowly gets to her feet. We fight together, Delora. There's no one I'd rather have fighting by my side, Fate. Or Faye. Come on, Princess, while we still have an opening. We head around the side. Parfait erects a shield to protect us from any magic that comes our way, and Delora summons a whirlwind as a distraction. Ow! My foot is grazed by fire magic, causing me to stumble, but I force myself into a limping sprint regardless. This is nothing. At the entrance, I pause in the middle of the room. The main entrance hall is eerily silent. And then I see Mithros edging his way into the king's throne room. He's holding tight to Emmeline. He notices me watching and smiles. Then he disappears into the throne room. We have to follow him. Princess! He has Emmeline! Chevalier's posture and expression are indecisive, but mine are not. I know Mithros is baiting me, but I cannot leave her alone. My gaze moves around the hallway as I search for other knights. The place is almost empty, but it's not long before we hear footsteps. I tense at the sound and Chevalier holds tightly to my hand. Then, suddenly, as the figure draws nearer, I recognize him, even if he seems a completely different older person. It's Waltz! And he's grown up! And he looks hot. Just saying. Just saying. Look at that. Look at that. Waltz is hot. Waltz is going to be the last capture target of the game. And I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what or how his curse gets solved, but you don't really figure that out for any of them until you actually go through their route. Waltz? You broke your curse? But how? Chevalier stares at him in awe. I now dub you Waltz the Big. There was never a Waltz this small. Waltz shakes his head. And I broke my curse unexpectedly. I actually found the item I needed while I was searching around. But I can explain more later. For now, we have to go after Mithros. Do you know where he is? Theory. The item he needed is that box that's in our room. That's it. I can explain more later. For now, we have to go with the Mithros. Do you know where he is? He's in the throne room. Mithros stands in the middle of the empty throne room, holding Emmeline to him. He has his hands around her neck. No sudden moves, you three, or this girl dies. And I do know how much death bothers you. With a start, I realize he's talking to Waltz. All three of us are frozen. Myth. Traitor. Ugh, got hair in my face. Itchy. Why can't you see that Hilda wasn't trying to teach us? She was trying to corrupt us. Silence, traitor. You betrayed her. During the war, you betrayed her own teacher. Betrayed? I just need to quickly put myself over here. Just for a hot sec. Because you need to see his face. You need to see Waltz's really hot face. I just gotta say. Like, just so you know. Hilda was corrupted. She cannot be saved. How dare you use her name? Mithros's fingers tighten on Emmeline's throat. I can see the tears running down her face. Her sobbing is quiet, but it still reaches my ears in the silent room. Varg! Varg appears from the darkness as he did before. He smiles at all of us from behind Mithros, eyes glinting mischievously. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Just silence as we move the camera. It's fine. It's fine. That's Varg. Wait a sec. We'll go back to Waltz in a second, because he has grown up. He is no longer tiny boy. You didn't finish the job. You were awfully vague when you told me to take care of them. You know, most people would assume that meant entertaining them and offering them refreshments. Obey me! Varg turns to us. He draws the sword he used earlier, his smile fading. I think I see something like pain in his eyes, but then I think it might be my imagination. Waltz is a complete hottie. He looks stoic as he moves towards us. When Waltz moves, Mithros's hands tighten over Emmeline's neck and she cries out. Chevalier is watching everything quietly. The concern in his eyes is muted by the urgency. I follow his gaze around the room, wondering what he's searching for. Myth, is it? You were injured during the Great War. I tended to you once. Stabbed in the stomach. You needed stitches for it. I feel Mithros's confusion before I see it. For just a few moments, though, his gaze is centered on Chevalier, his eyes probing him for information. No one came for you. Your teacher must have thought you were too weak, that you would die. Mithros's hand fly away from Emmeline's neck as he lunges forward toward Chevalier with a snarl, his expression mad. The room breaks out into chaos then. I feel the rise of magic beside me as Waltz readies a spell, the tension in Chevalier's body as he prepares to shield me, and lastly, I see Varg zip across the room. Everything goes white. When I look up, I see Waltz standing in front of me with a shield. Mithros's hand lies flat against the shield, and I can feel the heat of his magic. Varg lies on the ground beneath his fallen sword, unconscious from the impact of magic. Even Chevalier is on his knees. I rush toward the sword at the same moment Waltz pushes Mithros back onto the ground. Then, sword in hand, I stand above Mithros and aim it at his neck. The blade touches his skin without sinking into it. Emmeline is hiding behind the throne, staring out at the scene with shock on her tear-stained face. Will you kill me? Mithros's smile is a mere shadow of itself. You saw the soldiers in the clinic today. You saw how close some of them were to death. Did you see the hollow look in their eyes? Yeah, it's totally a Pinocchio curse. I swear it has to be. I've seen that look many times. It's the look of a man who clings desperately to life. Frosty, we don't want to stab him because that is more therapy we need. And with creepy mum trying to make us be evil, we already need therapy. Please no death therapy. Every life is precious and a life is still a life, whether it's vile or not. It's still a responsibility you have to bear. I know how valuable lives are because I've helped so many people. That desperation is in Mithros's eyes now. A man that clings to life. It would be so easy to slice his throat. I have seen so much bloodshed on this night, and it was all caused by Mithros. If I kill him, I can stop all of it. But that would make me no better than Mother. Oh, you got more stuff to do? We're so close though, Garno, come on! I drop the sword. Mithros actually stops to stare at me in shock. I'm not like Mother. I will not kill you for revenge. No sooner have I said the words that I feel a sudden heat at my chest. My hand instinctively reaches up to grab at the necklace around my neck. And then there is a bright light. When the light clears, a new source of light catches my eyes. I stop to stare down at my feet, which are in glass slippers that shine so brightly they sparkle even in the dim light. But I have no time to admire the shoes or the weight that has fallen off my shoulders. I barely recognize that the fairy tale curse has been broken. Emmeline rises from behind the throne and screams, "Lucette, watch out!" Mithros has grabbed the sword with his hand and turned it around and is aiming it at my chest. It hits a barrier. Parfait stands beside me once more, her face devoid of any colour. I didn't see her rush in here. She takes a step forward as if to shield me. Out of my way! Mithros draws the sword back and plunges it again at the shield. This time the blade is coated with darkness. It pierces the already flimsy shield. And I've just got hiccups. A lot of hiccups. And the blade goes through Parfait's heart. Oh, fuck! Well, this is worse than all the other routes we've already done. Parfait's now dead. Parfait! Parfait grabs the blade and narrows her eyes at Mithros. I'm sorry Hilda didn't appreciate you. Something swells inside of me as I stare at Parfait. The sword is impaled in her and I can see her eyes go glassy. I cannot speak, cannot breathe. Waltz rushes forward with his magic and pins Mithros forcefully to the ground. He raises his hand, but it never comes down in time. The sword strikes past his shoulder right at Mithros' neck. When I turn, it's Chevalier that's holding it. His body shakes as tears run down his cheeks. Mithros holds his neck as Chevalier holds up the blade and throws it behind him. Out of the corner of my eyes, I catch movement that can only be vague, but I don't care. Lady Parfait, don't move. We can take the sword out, but I see a hopelessness in Chevalier's expression, and I know that whatever wound Parfait took was lethal. I can see it in his eyes, and I can see it in Parfait's. There's no need to fuss. When Parfait falls, Waltz grabs her and puts his hand to the hilt of the sword. Chevalier crumples beside her. He stares at the blood staining her dress with sorrow. I start to cry. Lucette, don't regret this. I'm proud of you. The room is quiet, even with newcomers that arrive. The knights and Karma watch the scene from the sidelines, all with grim looks on their faces. Last to arrive is Delora, who sits down beside Parfait with her lips pulled into an uptight frown. Her face is stern, but I can tell that it's a mask. Parfait, that look doesn't suit you, Delora. I told you to stay back. Had I not been here in time, the princess would have... Her words fall apart as she begins to cough. Delora leans over her and shakes her head. I'm sorry I didn't come sooner. Everything is as it should be, Delora. Parfait cranes her neck to look up at me. Wipe away your tears, Lucette. What you did was a good deed. You spared a man's life. But life is not a fairy tale. Humans are good and bad. No, it isn't. But the fear of death makes life even more valuable. Parfait's dying! Do not worry, princess. I chose this. Parfait smiles. It's mystifying to see her smile when her body is slowly crumbling away in Waltz's grasp. Parfait's body is what gives out first. Her eyes go next. They remain focused on me, still smiling. Her body begins to glow as her body slowly fades away. Parfait! Parfait! Delora turns away. Even if she's not shedding any tears, it's clear that she's heartbroken. She closes her eyes and releases a shaky sigh. Sweet dreams, my friend. I'm about to cry. I can do this. I can do this. I don't know how long we all stay in that room, mourning the loss of Parfait. Karma, Jurian, and Garland eventually spread out to search for any remaining danger. At some point, they returned with the king and the rest of the family. My reunion with my family is half-hearted. I don't know what to say to the people that I hated only months ago. Despite the quiet, they all take me in with open arms. The king stays by my side long after the others have left. Karma and the knights return to the mansion to tell the others the news. Lots of rips. F in the chat, please. Waltz goes to search the palace for any remaining resistance. Only Delora, Chevalier, the king, and I remain. Chevalier cries. I've never seen him cry before, but his heartbreak is my own. What happened was a nightmare, but it eventually ended. Last night, Varg escaped the throne room. No one saw where he disappeared to in all of the chaos. I'm beginning to believe that his faint was a trick. Since the night had left everyone so tired, we were offered rooms in the palace. I came to my room with Chevalier, where the two of us attempted to comfort each other with words. Chevalier was especially shaken, being the one to kill Mithros. He was in tears for a long time. I'm pretty sure that I must have fallen asleep sometime when we were talking, but I'm lying in my bed underneath my covers, and though I think for a few moments that it must be a figment of my imagination, it's not. He fell asleep with us. Chevalier is definitely lying right next to me, sleeping beneath those same covers. How did this happen? I pull up the recollection of the previous day to stare at the Chevalier's face. His glasses are off, and without them, his face seems strangely empty. He looks vulnerable, almost like a child, except his features are too handsome for that. What am I thinking? I slowly put my hand to his cheek and flinch when his eyebrows crease. Moments later, his eyes open. They're foggy this early in the morning. What is this? Have I been woken by my princess? Usually it's the princes that wake their princesses. I will always wonder how he manages to keep smiling like this. Even when he's in pain, he forces a smile. But you are no prince, and I'm not some damsel princess. Chevalier closes his eyes again and sighs. There's only one way to break the spell of sleep. This motherfucker. I flushes his lips curl into a mischievous smile. Still, his eyes don't open. I think about what happened last night. Parfait and Mithros' death. Varg's escape, everyone else's heartbreak. Before I have to relieve the burden, I can afford to lose myself in some happiness. I lean forward to kiss his smile. I break away from Chevalier, startled. Princess? How distressing. Time to flirt because we're sad. Yes. Yes. That is... Yes. Uh-huh. How distressing. Waltz the Big ruins everything. I quickly slip out of bed and Chevalier sits up and puts on his glasses with a yawn. Good morning, princess. And his eyes widen when he sees Chevalier. He's so tired that words have abandoned you, Waltz. You're back? Yeah, so, Garno, Parfait died. We won and everything. Parfait died, though. Chevalier might have, Mithros. Also, Waltz is really hot. Yeah. And then Chevalier and the princess ended up sleeping in the same bed. Just sleeping. Because they both fell asleep. It was a long day. Depression's flirting. Works every time. 60% of the time. No, I wanted to see if the princess was doing okay. If you were both alright, actually. Well, yeah, but I'm not going to get tired looking at this, okay? Nope. I don't think I'm going to get tired of this anytime soon. What is it with the slightly long hair and one earring that gets me? All anime boys with the slightly, like, long hair, one earring, gets me every time. Also the white-haired anime boys. That gets me too. White-haired anime boys typically the tragic story ones, though, so... Anyways, he pauses to look at us, his eyebrows furrowed in thought. Though I can imagine just how tongue-tied you must be, you should speak if you have something to say. It's never as good in real life. No, K-pop. K-pop guys generally get it correct. I do like the anime better, though. Just a preference. Though I can imagine just something to say. Wolf sighs. I didn't want to bring this up so soon, but it's been on my mind the whole night. It's just... You didn't have to kill Myth. That was my job. Your job? I doubt that. Can't have long hair. Dang! No, anime preference, definitely. Definitely. Other than that, bleh, people. Besides, I didn't want to kill him. It was a reaction. The room goes silent for a few moments as Chevalier stares down at the floor. He told me before that lives were valuable. That's why I tried to save Mithros. In the end, my sparing his life forced Chevalier to carry the burden of his death. He has already told me that it wasn't my fault. Parfait said that what I did was a good deed, but still. Killing Mithros saved us more casualties. I hope I can convince Chevalier of that. Most likely he will wrestle with that guilt for a long time. Bunk sit by. Gano, you got a horny bunk from Karma? I turn my attention back to Waltz and will the questions to the back of my mind for the time being. Waltz, there are questions I need to ask you. About how he broke his curse, about Mother being his teacher, about Mithros. There's so much to ask him I don't even know where to start. We have plenty of time for explanations now, Princess. After your birthday, Delora and I will pick up your magic education, but for now, you should rest. I'll give you the full story of my apprenticeship and curse another day. But Princess, Chevalier, I just thought I'd let you know that when Parfait came into this battle, she expected to die. She told all of us that while we were sitting around trying to plot a rescue plan. Why does Karma need a horny bunk? Oh. I am now scared, Breezy. I glance at Chevalier, who nods quietly. Was it because of her frailty after the Great War? Or did Parfait somehow have a feeling? Oh, also, congratulations on breaking your curse, Princess. Chevalier sits up straight, his eyes narrowed behind his glasses. Waltz, I was supposed to congratulate her first. Chevalier stands and kisses me promptly on the cheek. My cheeks flush and even Waltz looks embarrassed. Congratulations, my sweet. It was all very dramatic when your curse broke. There was this bright light and... Wait. Why was there no bright light when I broke my curse? Both Waltz and I burst into laughter. Chevalier just sighs dramatically. He leans against my shoulder and I don't protest. Karma can bonk himself as he needs. Oh, last night and the first night? Okay. Yeah, no, I get it now. I get it now. Yep. I have a feeling that getting through the memory of last night might be easier with him here. If anyone can put a smile on my face, it's Chevalier. We hope to see you again at the March-In soon, Princess. I will be back. After all, I have friends there. Did I speak falsely? No, of course not. It's the truth. Anyway, I need to get going. I've explained what happened to your father, but you should talk with him privately soon. It gets better? Wait, what? What's happening now? After everything that happened last night, speaking to the king is the last thing on my mind, but I suppose it must be done. Thank you, Waltz. And you, Chevalier, might want to ask for a guest room. But no bed is as comfy as the princess's. Running down to Cuba with... Ahoy, mateys! Jesus Christ. I nudge him without realizing it, but Chevalier just laughs. We have promised Waltz that we will see him and everyone else in the March-In soon. Afterwards, Waltz hurries out and shuts the door. My eyes go to the edge of my bed, where something shiny catches my eyes. The glass slip is a reminder of everything that happened yesterday. I got a jar of dirt, I got a jar of dirt, I got a jar of dirt, guess what's inside of it? I got a jar of dirt, I got a jar of dirt, I got a jar. I found, like, the 1 hour loop of that back when I was in, like, year 8. And I listened to it on repeat. It was a problem. Of the fact that life goes beyond just black and white, good and evil are subjective. In the end, life is grey, Mother. Both good and bad, but even so, even though fairy tale endings cannot exist, I still want to live my life with everyone else. Mithros centered his life around a single person. He was selfish. I will become someone better than him. Thinking about Mithros makes me remember something. Chevalier? Yesterday you said that you took care of Mithros during the Great War. That no one came for him. Was that true? I don't know, Lucette. He acted like it was, though, wasn't it? So you never knew Mithros? No, I didn't know him at all. I didn't know if I would have been able to strike him down if I did. I didn't know what burden he carried, but it seemed heavy. I only guessed at what I could say to distract him. I'd heard rumours of a strong witch that went abandoned for many years. That may have been him, it might not have been. So deception exists in everyone, but it's not entirely what Mother said it was. Okay, we get a little bit of an epilogue here as well. My birthday is tomorrow. I sit in the throne room speaking to my father, who has listened to my tale with patience. When it's over, he looks at me sadly. I owe you an apology, Lucette. This whole time you've been on your own and I couldn't do a thing for you. You can start now, starting first by explaining what happened between you and Mother. You knew she was a witch. I did. You did too, before she forcefully erased your memories. I tried reaching out to you many times when you were a child, but my efforts were met with resistance. Still, I cannot excuse myself for what I've done. I truly abandoned you, and I'm sorry for that, Lucette. I will explain the story to you if you give me time. For now, I would very much like to mend my bond with you. To be honest, the king still angers me. He only apologizes now after all of this has come to light. Whether or not I was difficult to speak to, he still had an obligation to seek me out. He's still late to care, but he's still my father, and I can forgive him. I can learn to trust him again. It will take time, but I would like to mend our bond. I would also like to try speaking with Emmeline, Rod, and Ophelia, but that will take time. The king smiles at me. It's one of the first honest smiles I've seen from him in years. We have time, all of the time in the world, and we will mend our family bond, I promise. As I turn to leave the room, the king calls out to me. Lucette, I'm proud of you. More proud than any other father in the realm could ever be of his child. After what happened, we searched for Fritz, but he has vanished. Mithros and Varg had said that they had replaced him, but they never said anything about what had happened to him. Question. Breezy, gonna ask you a question at some point. I don't know when. We searched endlessly, but to no avail. All I can hope is that he's safe and that I will reunite again with him in the future. Oh, Waltz's performance today was amazing. Don't you agree, Mr. Chevalier? I agree. You ladies looked especially charming with so many lilies floating around you. Oh my. He always speaks like that. Don't mind him. It's been a whole month since the events at the palace. My birthday has come and gone. Now my life begins. I've been practicing magic with Waltz and Delora, attempting to bond with my family and visiting the Marchen when time allows me to. Okay, cool. Anise was overjoyed to see me visiting often. Since Chevalier operates from there as a doctor, I visit often. Mostly, though, he clings to me like a leech. Oftentimes, I find him in my bed when I could have sworn he was sleeping in another room for the night. Sometimes at night he has nightmares of blood on his hands and of Misthros's death. And at those times, I'm glad to be sitting right beside him, so I can promise him that things are alright. As for the fairy tale curse, I have no idea how Lucette puts up with you. Rod's voice comes out from between his lips. Now he can actually speak. Since the fairy tale curse was tied to Mother's still living soul in the crystal, her disappearance and my taking her place immediately caused the root to vanish. I've been working for days to break everyone's fairy tale curses with magic, and when I'm done, no one in this kingdom will have to suffer from it ever again. And now the Marchen is not just a place reserved for the cursed. Now it's open to the public. Lucette enjoys it, though. She finds my poetic weavings to be the best in the kingdom. What he means to say is I can only put up with them because of our relationship. Loving someone so much you can put up with their nonsensical poetry. I thought you were the nice one, Princess Emmeline. No, she has a point. Emmeline focuses her attention on the musician standing off in the distance. She points excitedly, then rushes after them, pulling her brother with her. Her guards follow. Ever since the incident at the palace, we've had more security. I don't blame the king, though it can be tiring at times. Luckily, he's more lax with me. When I told him Chevalier was going to be with me, he settled with having Emmeline and I share guards. And so I get to be alone with Chevalier often. Father was wary of him at first, until he found out he was a renowned doctor. Now he and Chevalier get on well enough. Chevalier takes a step closer to me and I place my hands around his arms. Around his arm. Blech. I'm no prince, nor am I a knight in shining armor. I'm just a doctor who has been blessed with the most beautiful woman in this world. Chevalier begins to lead me through town again. He's one of the only constants in my ever-changing life. He's the one that will always make me smile, and we share a burden, the burden of a friend's death. He's more burdened with nightmares than I am, and while I wish I could do more to help, I can at least listen to him, just like he listens to me. No matter the burden, it can be overcome. Lucette? Yes? I love you, more than anything in the world. I love you too. We share one kiss, ignoring the spectators in the town with a shared smile. Then we follow after Emmeline. Aww. She cute! Do I have to sit through the credits again? Please? Oh, recap of the CGs. Uh-huh. Very nice, very nice. I'm just gonna do this for a second so we could appreciate any CGs that show up. Look at the CGs! They're beautiful. Oh, that's when she fainted. Because she was working herself till she was sick. Kissing scenes! Many kissing scenes. You know what? I really appreciate the sleeping scene as well. I like this. Thank you. I kinda wish I could skip through the rest of it, but also I get the reason why they wouldn't let you skip through it. Cool, okay. That thing. Okay, cool. Here we are. Okay, we're back. So, what we also need to do before we finish is recap. Go back here. And we skip to the next choice. And then we're going to try and get the bad ending. Just real quick. We have to get the bad ending before we can mark it off there, Karma. Have to get the bad ending first. Okay, so ... This is the truth. There's nothing I can do about it. Don't worry, dear. I can help fill in the gaps for him. And his journals are at our house. You've probably already helped him by simply being there for him the entire time. Tell me, what do you go by now? Until we figure out your name, I need something to call you. Rumple. He looks so dejected and so sad. His eyes flit to me briefly, then back to Bria. He smiles, but I know Rumple enough that I can tell it's a forced smile. And my partner, Lucette. She's helped me. And that's that. We skip. And Rumple mentioned a fight. We interrupt the conversation. I step out from behind the fountain and slowly make my way over to the table. Bria looks up and around. After a few moments, her eyes fall on me. She immediately scowls. What are you doing here? I came to see if you were lying to Rumple. What? Is there something wrong, Miss Partner? Skip. When we talk to him, I rub at my eyes as Rumple looks at me with a quiet smile. He could be talking about his own problems, but instead he's trying to comfort me. Parfait and Delora told me about something they were keeping hidden from me. They told me something about Mother. And it doesn't make any sense to me because everything that they are saying makes her a villain. Even villains are often misunderstood or have trying circumstances. Cool, that is chapter 6. Now we want to lean against Rumple. My body is so weak anyway. Even if I wanted to struggle, I wouldn't be able to. I slowly lean my head against his chest. Princess? You concede that you need help? No. Still so stubborn. There is an indistinctive murmuring behind him that probably belongs to the girls. Rumple responds to them in a low voice. Stubborn she may be, but my sweet princess is stronger than any other woman I've ever known. Okay, cool. We look at him? You have beautiful eyes, so we stare at him. Does he ever truly mean his compliments? I know he spoke about meaning everything he says, but I continue to stare at him. I don't look away even once, though I do feel a slight shudder run through me when Rumple keeps my gaze. Fierce as always. He removes his finger but doesn't step back. We're still so close I can feel his breath. Fierce? You. Never backing down from anything, always resisting, always putting up a wall. That's what I... His words falter and then he simply stops what he was saying. He looks at me again. Okay, next. Delora complimented us, so we don't say anything back. I feel surprisingly light. Rumple was right. A genuine compliment does make me feel good, but does she truly mean it? Still no thank you, huh? Well, we'll have to work on that. Delora! What? You always ruin the mood, don't you? Is it so wrong to get my hopes up when all I want is for the princess to thank me once? You did curse her. Not many fairy tale curse victims thank the casters. Touché. Okay, that's chapter 7 down. We stay in the room. Knowing everyone, if I tried to leave the mansion, they would get riled up again. I've already had Delora come in so many times to make sure I'm still here. I sit up on my bed and stare at the bag of journals beside my bedside table. And Hero is looking forward to giving those journals to him. I'm still here, Delora. Rumple stands in the doorway. I stand at the bouquet he has in his hand, wondering where he got it and what it might be for. Ah, there she is, the wonderful Princess Lucette. I was worried you'd come and gone with the wind again, free spirit that you are. I stand as he steps into the room. I'm glad to see you back, Princess. That's that one. You love me? I do. I love you. But Chevalier smiles at me as he puts his other hand on my back and pulls me closer. The smile is so genuine and so gentle, the same smile I've grown to love. And then we got the kissing scene. Whatever words I had been meaning to say die in my throat as he leans forward. Okay, that's that. That was a very short one. Can I not? Ah, shite. Freaking heck. Fuck. God damn it. I think I have to do that again. Cool. And I just overrid it. Like an idiot. Help. I am an absolute fucking mess. No! I just want to get this done. Rumple. Yes. Skip everything. There's Rumple. There's Rumple. To go through all of that again. At least I'm skipping this shit. We're going to do the good choices until we get to, like, chapter 6. Because otherwise we have to deal with new dialogue. And then I have to click through it. Don't accept. Attempt to flirt. Idiot music. I have to leave the idiot music behind. So sad. Apologize. Tell him off. I am so frustrated with myself right now. Stop walking. I will say though, this route, like Rumple's route, is probably the cutest, like most innocent love routes. Like there wasn't much that pushed them together or forced them really to be together until that very end part where they went through, what's his name's death. Okay, that. Interrupt. Talk to him. Okay. Now we've got lean against him again. Look at him. You're not wrong, Gano. I'm so sad that I lost the idiot music. I'm very sad. Okay, stay in the room. Done that. Love me. Mithras. Claim the crown. Okay. Is there anything I can do to help? I am not sure if I'm capable of helping. I cannot use a sword and I cannot use magic, witch or not. In this position, Princess, you're not safe. If Myth got a hold of you too, I feel Chevalier's fingers on my wrist. They tense as he looks at me somberly. Princess, it's not safe. Even the king himself was overtaken. But I can help so long as we have the element of surprise. Okay, skip to the next. Now we go to the abdomen. There are organs in the abdomen, right? And there are no ribs blocking the way. A good guess, but his eyebrows furrow. A person can still survive that kind of wound. You're actually likely to die faster if they stab you through the liver or some other major vein or artery. Still, what you're suggesting would allow people to live for a long while without treatment. Most would probably die from either infection or blood loss. The place you'd actually want to stab or slice is a part of the neck. Okay. We go quietly. I stare at him resolutely, but my heart is sinking, and any hope I'm holding onto is quickly sinking with it. There's nothing I can do in this situation. He could easily muffle my words and maybe even gag me. If I'm not careful, he might even kill me, and I cannot die here. Nothing? I thought you'd at least try resisting a little, but if you're not going to act first, then I will. The man opens a small vial right in front of my face. I've done that. I am indeed the crown princess. This is my chance to prove to them that I'm the princess. The king never believed me before, but here I can convince him. I am indeed the crown princess, Lucette Riella Britain. I told you before, your majesty, but I was cursed and you didn't believe me. Now no one remembers who I am. I would remember my own daughter. I flinch. A pained look comes onto the king's face as he stares at me. Mithros is smiling slyly at the end of the table, looking pleased by the further confusion I've caused. Is his purpose to only confuse everyone further? What kind of mind game is he playing? Okay. Well. Chapter 10. Unraveled. Ooh, it's unraveled now. It's different. Chevalier, snap out of it. Just look at all these men you cannot save, all these men dying before your eyes. Chevalier, we have to get away from here. How many people have you really saved? In the grand scheme of things, you have no talent. That's why you sought help from a witch. Mithros' voice is oddly calm, and I can feel some sort of presence in the air that's different from normal. We have done this before. We pick up the sword. Blah, blah, blah. Wait. Oh, so this time we don't punch him. So he doesn't see anyone except for Mithros, who's still smiling at him from behind all the knights. I slowly inch backwards, making a show of looking at Chevalier. Neither Mithros nor Chevalier seem to see me. I will protect you, Chevalier. I will do whatever it takes, even if I have to kill someone. I pluck the sword from the ground and grasp it at the hilt. It feels heavy in my hand, but I ignore the weight. I rush down the hallway with the sword, weaving my way to the side so that I'm out of the way of the knights fighting each other. I look squarely at Mithros. And then suddenly, Chevalier's eyes flicker to me, only momentarily, but enough for me to know that he's no longer looking at Mithros in a daze. I turn back and see Chevalier rubbing his hand across his eyes. Mithros snaps his hand, and two of the fighting knights turn and rush towards me. The knights manage to back me into a corner of the wall. I hold the blade out as they bear down on me and close my eyes. My hands shake on the hilt, but I stand resolute, ready for the blow. But it doesn't come. Moments before the knights raise their swords, I am aware of breath on my cheek and a beautiful violet eyes staring into my own. Lucette! Oh! Human body and human shield. Great! But the world ends in a gasp as the blade is buried deep into Chevalier's chest. His words fade as his hands slide down on either side of me. He slumps and his head falls to my shoulder. No! A raw sound escapes my throat as I feel the warmth leave Chevalier's body. Chevalier! I scream his name and he looks up, but his eyes don't see me. They're somewhere far away. Mithros pulls Chevalier's body down to the ground where it falls with a terrible thud. Inconsequential. I'm deaf to Mithros' words. I slump down beside Chevalier, my hands reaching for his. His eyes are still open, but the light in them is gone. No. Tears stream down my face. I cannot breathe, I cannot hear my heart. Everything is quiet and dark. Chevalier! Now that the obstacle is gone, you have nothing left, princess. Mithros' hand reaches for me. I attempt to lift the sword, but he knocks it easily out of my hands. Are you truly the Queen's daughter? The Queen never cried. She was the strongest woman I knew. I cannot breathe and cannot stifle the sobs escaping my throat. She taught me that sentimentality was nothing to value, that it would only make you weak. I assumed you knew that too, princess. But I was wrong. It will be a good thing when the Queen is back on the throne. The weak do not win. He snaps his fingers and the witches congregate around me. Now we shall use you to bait the fairy, and then everyone else will fall. I will unravel this effort at its heart. He nudges Chevalier's body. I look down at Chevalier's ashen face and sob. I let the tears gather in my eyes until I cannot see anything. Nothing matters anymore. Bad end. Woo! Cool. So, that's the bad ending. Pretty much all the bad endings is just the guy dies. So, not surprised. Not surprised. So, out of that we have achievements. So we got a spool of gold for the good ending, and a spool of needles for the bad ending. Yeah. Okay, so that is that for this stream. I'm tired, and I went like 40 minutes over over what I intended to go for. Cool. And now it's time to go and explain DMMD to people who are interested. So if you want my not quite good explanation of what dramatical murder is, join us in the Discord after this. Just pop that in there. So join us in there if you want an explanation of dramatical murder. The dungeon channel, I guess. It's the one that's not streaming and it's not salties, so dungeon channel. Okay, we need to find someone to raid. We don't need to find someone to raid. I just like to raid people. It's fine. Who is actually on at this point? Cat's playing Dead by Daylight. Watermelon's playing Splitgate, and someone's playing Elder Scrolls. What do we feel like? Dead by Daylight or Splitgate? Anyone got preference? Finish murder and continue with murder? DBD? Okay. We'll go annoy Cat for a hot sec. Cuzbot? Who's Cuzbot? Let me... Cuzbot. He's playing Apex. What's up? Yeah, we can go raid Cuzbot. I am quite happy to do that. So get your raid emojis ready, everyone. Make sure you go and check out our socials down below there. And make sure you sign up to our newsletter. Tomorrow night, fingers crossed, we will be back for the Danganronpa voice acting stream. Really, really hoping that Salty's up for that one, because me and her were kind of out of it for the last week. Yeah, make sure you got all that. Make sure you check out our merch store. Make sure you also come check out our Discord if you're not already on our Discord. Give us a sub if you feel like giving us some subs. We greatly appreciate all of the support that you guys give. We are running this year, fingers crossed that nothing happens in the meantime. We're running this year 18th and 19th of December, so good chance to get some last minute Christmas presents. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Bye.